Hello, everybody. Oh, I got the banner up. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? How is everybody doing? Good afternoon, Miss. I'm going to go from the top. Miss Donna, Miss Krista, our beautiful mods, and Marie Curie. Thank you for being here. And Allie. Hey, sweetie. I got to strategize with you if you have time tomorrow, honey. So, today we're going to cover Rebecca Park update. I don't know if you heard the craziest update. I mean, it's in like wild. Um Hey Anne, nice to see you. 3 a.m., honey. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Allie, I am so struggling, and it's my own fault. Like I have been desperately trying to get my schedule in like organized. And it's not even mostly me. It's like my grandson was sick. I was supposed to babysit after my appointment this morning to get my license. But by the time I got out of there, my son-in-law had gotten hold of his boss. Then that was canceled because he was working from home. Now they need me tomorrow. It's like Jason, Dylan's dad, Eller, and I talked last night for a good hour, texted way in late to the nighttime. And this morning I can't get a hold of him. I don't know what's going on. So um he was going to join us either today or tomorrow. Yeah, so it's just, it's just one of those days. Like, I'm so grateful you're here because it's been so unreliable for me. Oh god, so I'm glad you're here up in the middle of the night, Allie. I am Lisa. Welcome in, honey. I'm trying to yeah, I just what a lovely boy. Jason is. I really feel for him. Like, I really do. I really do. He sent me a bunch of evidence, told me a lot of stuff, and so he emailed me. He called me right away. I mean, as soon as I emailed him, he called me immediately. We talked. I mean, he's just a cool kid. He's just a cool guy. I say kid because he's old enough. You're retarded. Your life's still chaotic. Oh, I know, Anne. Because he's young enough to be my son. He texted me. He applied to the Find Me group, when he found out about the Find Me group to see if he could volunteer to help out. He texted me that at 10 p.m. last night. He's just a really good person. And I feel my heart is just, yeah. I know, but sweetie, it's hard for you guys to know when I want to be reliable. Like, I'm trying to be reliable. So I was going to ask him because I did ask him to clear up a few rumors, and I was going to ask him to do that if he. I told him I was a psychic medium, and he didn't seem weirded out by that. So I'm hoping he's not decided he doesn't want to work and come up and talk to us. But if he does, that's okay. I understand. He's been through a lot. He's been through a lot. He searched himself. He said for 4 years for Dylan along the Bay of Fundy, 4 years. So the Bay of Fundy. So yeah, it's not the RCMP that did the investigation. It's the Truro police, for those of you that were not aware. But yeah, Donna, like, he's just, I like Seth. I'm not critical of Seth, except that it was like months to try to get Seth to engage with the Find Me group, and then he sent a blank form and never resent it. And I just don't get that. And yet Dylan talked to me for an hour. We texted numerous things back and forth to each other. I gave him a little bit of information to help him from my experience. I just mainly listened and asked a few questions. I know it's really sad. It's very sad. And I got a few clarifications from him, you know, some of the rumors that were going around that are not true. Like, he wasn't doing drugs. He's, pot's legal in Canada, like the odd time, but he's not and wasn't doing drugs when Dylan disappeared. So we talked and got some clarification on a few things. And Well, this is just it, right? Like it's yeah. So he really impressed me. And I hope he's okay today. I hope he's okay today. Yeah. Well, and do y'all remember me saying Seth was still in love with Katie? And I remember talking to Jen about this, and she's like, I don't think so anymore, Liane. But on his last live, did y'all catch him when he was talking to Katie and he referenced her as babe? Babe, I stuck through you through it all, babe. And then he's like, oh, I guess I shouldn't be referring to you that way. My heart broke for him, My heart broke for him. I think he's having a hard time, um, which I get I mean, look at what happened to my dad doesn't even pale by comparison, although my dad did almost die. Um, it's like, I mean, I've grown up with my mom my whole life and knew who she is, but it's like you're still like in complete disbelief, right? Like, holy F. Like that can't like KP, like she couldn't, like I can only imagine Seth like sometimes not thinking that the person that he married that birthed this child could ever. Yeah, well, I tried to help her because I find it's just the way she explains it. But anyways, well, we're not. Yeah, that's my fault. I keep breaking my own rules about talking about the creators. Anyways, my heart breaks for Seth. I think he's probably right in a little bit of denial. He sure did. He sure did. But I mean, it's like, how do you like, I don't know. I guess I'm always that person. Like as much even in true crime of the evil, as much as we see with the evil in this world, I still get so dumbfounded by like people never cease to disgust me and disappoint me. Yeah, I know some people believe that for sure, Lori Green. I know. Well, I can tell you I was way more impressed with Jason in the hour that I spoke with him. And I don't know either if I believe that, Lori, but Lori, you're entitled to your opinion. You know, I think having been the victim of somebody in a family doing something potentially allegedly in his case horrible, in my case I had 600 emails of evidence. um It does. It's exactly right, and that's what he used a lot of the money for at first, and, and I don't think he was able to work. Seth reached out to him recently, and they may be taking it on. Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, that's great news. That's great news. Um, yeah, so I'm not sure, Well, I guess I shouldn't say I'm not sure. Anyways, I'm not even gonna get into it. I think he's had a bad experience with a psychic that he went to see, and so is reluctant about that part of it, you know? And anyways, it's his son, it's his prerogative. So let's get at it. We're going to talk about Rebecca Park, but yeah, it's just never people never cease to amaze me. I think Seth is believing it was LCP, but I truly believe KP is very involved. Yeah, I do too. I do too, you know, regrettably. And even though we listened to the audio with Sebastian just last week, I want to listen to it again. And yeah, I know that's true. I thank you, Donna. It's my being all over the place. Anyways, like it's I don't know. That audio to me feels like I maybe it's my our brains can do a lot of things. So I really shouldn't say. It's just feels like on the call that there's two very familiar especially one familiar voice for a lot of us on that call. As hard as it is to hear, it's just one of them seems like a real no-brainer is on the other end of that phone. But what do I know? I know, and I know. Okay, so let's
More details tonight as the search continues in Wexford County for 22-year-old Rebecca K. Park, who was just days away from giving birth. Deputies tell us she was last seen a week ago, getting into a dark-colored vehicle outside a relative's home in Boone Township. She hasn't been seen or heard from since. Up North Live's Tony Lundy spoke to two of her loved ones as the latest.
Investigators later found Rebecca's cell phone discarded along a nearby two-track, a discovery that's only added to her family's fear.
Just keep telling myself every minute that she's gonna be found. Her and little man are gonna be safe, okay. Having problems sleeping because for the last 2 years, every night, she's the one I was laying in bed next to.
Fowler says he knew something was wrong right away.
I tried to call her a few times because I didn't get no messages, call from her, not.
So in case you forgot, this is hi DJ Autistic. Welcome out, welcome in. Hey, you've been here before, honey. Welcome in. You were in, welcome back. You were in once before. That's the night I told you about oh my god. The not the salts there that I take. If I could just the sulfur, the pure sulfur. Okay, so welcome back, DJ. So welcome in, Wendy. Welcome in. So listen, we're going to do an update on Rebecca Park. We watched a couple days ago, the fiance that has since been arraigned. Now, yesterday we reported the really disgusting news that they murdered Rebecca. Her own mother is alleged, of course, innocent until proven guilty, but to have pinned her down, stabbed her in the stomach to remove the baby. And is this the one you're talking about that's too cringe? Is this the one you guys are talking about here? Or are we talking about Sebastian? Anyways, Bullhorn Petty reported early this morning that they've been released from jail, but her fiance, her stepsister, her mother, and mother and stepfather were arraigned yesterday for murder. Okay, but yes, Liane doesn't tell me which one, Michelle. This case or Sebastian? That's not how I get my messages. If you find it too much, we'll just stop. Father, fiance, roommate are all us. Oh my God. Where did you hear that, Donna? Okay. So you find it too much? Well, you won't be happy to hear this morning. You read it? Okay. This morning, Betty reported that they've released them, the bond. I think they're still charged, but they've released them from their bond. So should we just skip it then? If you ladies don't want to cover it, we won't. Let's go to Dylan then. Let's go to Dylan. Okay, let's share this. We won't cover it then anymore if you guys don't. It is gross. I mean, it's definitely a disgusting it's just vile. Like, it's the sickest of humanity that can do that, you know? I don't I don't get it. I don't get it. Some closure for Rebecca. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's definitely gross. So anyways, the charges are still pending. I watched Brian Enton. I was going to cover a little bit. Well, it's okay. I'm really hoping that I hear back from Jason, because I really feel like covering Dylan more and learning more here about what's going on. But he had not heard. I just want to dispel two myths, because I'm sure he would be, okay with that. Yeah, exactly. Rest in peace. That's for sure. Says he's not a druggie, never was, and did not touch drugs, and barely has ever done drugs, and it was definitely not doing drugs when Dylan went missing. I asked him what he thought about Dorothy, and his response was very interesting. It's, he said, well, we just, Ashley and I just think there's something to the story that there's some pieces missing, and that was it. He wasn't accusatory. He was very, cautious to. Anyway, I was so that was very impressive. And the other thing that he said he had not heard of, we talked about on the live, was no. Hey, Hope. Hey, Deanna. He said he sorry, I might just lost my train of thought. I'm just thinking back to the conversation. That he had not heard any rumors that Dorothy knows Jack and Lily's family grandmother at all, great grandmother, whether it's Cindy or oh my god, I've just lost her name. Anyway, Cindy or her grandma, that he had not heard that they knew each other. So okay, let's say hi to everybody, and then I got to get back on focus, because Patty, thank you. Gosh almighty. I need to start writing. I'm trying to go paperless, but I need to start typing notes, because it's the only way I've ever retained anything. That's how I studied in school. If I don't write it, it's just like my brain's a sieve. Okay, so let's listen to this. The day that Dylan went missing, and what I remember part one. I know last night he sent me some videos. I don't know that I want to share. I don't know if I can't imagine he's going to mind. He sent me some videos. I don't know if you know that the dog hit in the pond, in the stream. The police deny it, but he's got videos, more than one, of where close to where Dylan's boots were, of cadaver dog in the water. Like, they got a hit. And then nobody continued to search there, and the police denied it ever happened, but he sent me the videos, and he's got more than one. So I think he's got a right to be extremely frustrated. So I really hope he comes on here. I've asked him if he'll come on and do a couple of lives with us, because one, just to get the facts out there, but the boots, that was the other thing he said, that Dorothy had bought the boots and that they were not Dylan's. But so I hope he'll come on here a couple times, because he sent me pictures of their trial, their tribunal, where they had the police investigation looked into. I sent him the attorney general's information last night that I had, because I had to contact them with my dad. And I mean, he sent me a text a half an hour later saying he sent the email already to the attorney general. Like, he's just boom, boom, boom. Like, I'm on it. Like, so anyways, I wanted to give him a platform. He's got his own YouTube channel, of course, but it's always good to have many people talking about it, because it didn't really get the exposure he didn't feel, because we had a massacre just out that way just before here in Canada. out in the same area, east coast of Canada. And he thought that Dylan's story sort of overshadowed. It's kind of like what I know a lot of people say about Riley Strain and Sebastian. Had they not been looking for Riley Strain, nobody was even talking about Sebastian. Some of that, it's just kind of luck of what's going on in the news at the time, which is sad to say, but the truth. And so I'm hoping he'll get back to me. And if not, that's totally fine. So where did the rugs come from? Was it his wife at the time of the mom? I don't know. I don't know anything about the rugs. I don't know anything about that part of the story. I told him, like, I was just starting the truth, that we were just starting to cover the case, and I wanted to hear from him first, and I wanted to see if he was interested in coming up and talking about spreading the awareness about Dylan. Yeah. Laurie says, I saw a video of the dog getting in a hit in the water, but sure that was not a dog handler. The reason being the water was not deep and nobody went in the water if it's the same video. No, Jason's talking to the dog handler in this video, and the dog handler confirms, no, she's getting a hit. So I don't know if that's the one you're referring to, but it's confirmed by the dog handler in the video that the dog has got a hit. So let's listen to this, and we're going to cover some Jack and Lily a little bit too.
I told everybody I would tell the story from how I remember, from the beginning to the end. So the last day I seen Dylan was May 4th, 2020. And we had him at my mom's house because due to the no contact order. I remember that day so well. We were playing games and everything was going good. And then I remember the grandmother picking him up. And that was when I told her that I didn't want my son over at her place due to COVID-19 and the things that are happening. I was stressed out. So I told her, I don't want my son at your place. I'd also told Ashley that. And the last day I seen my son, I forgot to say I love you because I was too busy arguing with the grandmother because me and her never got along, ever. And I was too busy putting a car seat away. And
he's referring to Dorothy, the grandmother that was Dylan's care. I was watching, and that was Ashley's mom he's referring to. I'm not going to disclose why he doesn't like her. It's extremely personal, and I'm not going to do that. If he wants to, then, but I can't say I blame him if what he told me is truthful, which I believe it to be.
Bickering with her, and I forgot to say I love you, and that'll stick with me the rest of my life. Nobody can expect the impossible to happen, and you don't think it'll be the last time you see your child. So my advice to all the parents out there is cherish your kids, and don't take them for granted. That's all I got to say about that. So May 6th, 2020. So I woke up that morning. I was anxious to get Dylan. Like, you have no idea. It was just like, I need to get Dylan. So I asked my mom. My dad was in the hospital getting some of his toes chopped off due to gangrene. So my mom was like, I don't want Dylan over today. And I got mad. We argued. So then, wasn't long after that.
You're welcome, Michelle.
I started talking to victim services, and I was talking to their counselor for a good over an hour, at least over an hour, almost 2 hours. And then after I was done talking to them, I went and spoke to my mom. I was like, Mom, let's go get Dylan. And finally she'd agreed, and we got ready, and we got our stuff together, and I drove. We took my mom's car, and my story never changes. We stopped at Needs. I grabbed a pack of smokes and a can of Pepsi, and we started to drive towards Elizabeth Street, towards the grandmother's, because I figured she wasn't answering all day. So I figured, I'll check her place, and then we'll check Ashley's, because Dorothy's house is closer. So for us to go to Dorothy's, it'd make more sense. And then after Dorothy's, we would go to Ashley's. And we arrived we go over the train tracks, and you can see Dorothy's house, and I see a cop car sitting there. So I'm like, never really thought nothing of it. And So we pull onto Elizabeth Street, pull into the driveway, and the cop's just standing there. So I get out of the car, and I remember I put my hands up. I'm like, I'm not here to see Ashley. I'm not here to break what's the word for it? We had a no contact order, so I didn't want to break any conditions. And so I said, hi, I'm just here to pick up my son Dylan. And there was a female officer, and she said, are you Jason Ehler? I was like, yes. Are you Dylan's father? I said, yes. And then that's when she told me my son was missing. I remember dropping to the ground to my knees. I remember Elaine, Ashley's father's girlfriend, trying to catch me. You know, I went limp. I fell. I went into shock. And that's when that panic started setting in, that panic that you guys never want to feel. You might feel it if you lost your child at a mall or just lost sight of them for a minute. You get that panic. It's a very hard feeling to go through. I remember my parents getting out of the car. Sorry, my mom and my sister. And Dorothy was up in the window, and my mom said, where were you when Dylan went missing? And the response was from Dorothy, the grandmother, get the fuck off my property. You're not welcome here. And that's to my 67-year-old mom, right? So, you know, she's not a young lady. There was no reason for the foul language. And considering we had just learned that Dylan was missing, it was probably the wrong approach. But they started arguing. I told everybody to shut up. Dylan's missing. Who gives a shit about your guys' feelings right now? And I remember saying it. And that's when the cops pulled my mom to the side and explained to them what was going on. And I was out there. I was out to lunch. I remember Ashley wasn't there. She was at a friend's house. Norman was there. So I mentioned to the cop, I was like, can Norman go get Ashley? Can I go get Ashley? Can I drive down and get her? And they told me I couldn't because, well, obviously I wasn't in the shape for driving. They wouldn't let Norman at first, but I argued and I argued and I argued. His mom needs to be here. I don't, you know, I'm going to bitch and complain until she's here because to me, she deserves to be there. She deserves to know. So eventually the cop was like, go ahead, Norman, go get Ashley. And when Norman went to pick up Ashley,
I don't know, Veronica, if you're understanding. Weird thing is they were arguing before he came up missing. Listen, y'all, I'm going to tell you this right now. If we have Jason up on the panel and you guys talk like that, I'm going to boot you out of the chat. Okay? Because I just finished telling everybody that I spoke with him and I believe him to be innocent. So I want, if he comes up, you are entitled to your opinion, but it will be a safe space. Just FYI.
he actually drove past the house the first time because he's never been there. And Ashley had noticed and she was like, why isn't my dad here? So he turns around and pulls into the driveway and Ashley's all confused. And Norman's like, get into the car. We need to go. I'll explain on the way. She gets in and he breaks the news to her and panic started setting in for her too. The whole way home, she told me, you know, Dylan's going to be found. Dylan's going to be found. Kids run off all the time and they're always found. That's just how it works. You know, they're always found. And I remember Ashley finally arriving to her mom's house on Elizabeth Street where Dylan went missing. And I said that, you know, we kissed, we hugged, we cried. I said they haven't found him yet. And I don't remember search and rescue being there at that point. There was only one cop there. So you got to remember, I showed up 2.5 hours after my son went missing. So by the time Ashley got there, it must have been 3 hours since he's been missing. And there was just no search and rescue. There were not many cops.
That is. Yeah. No, I know. I'm just an FYI. I'm not talking specifically. I'm just FYI. Like, I told him that this would be a safe space if he comes up. So the mom doesn't speak to her mother since. No, she doesn't. Well, about the grandmother, yes. Yeah. Yeah. Well, because I asked him about the 18 seconds and he doesn't believe that either. So all he said was based on the boots being discovered later that were not Dylan's, that the boots that Dorothy had bought Dylan 2 weeks prior showing up in the water. and her story, 18 seconds doesn't make sense, but other than that, yeah, no worries. We get it, sweetie. Other than that, he, doesn't have anything about specifically, he didn't say anything to me specifically about Dylan's case, but he did tell me why he's never liked her, and I'm not going to betray that confidence until if he decides he wants to come up and tell y'all. But yeah. But if it's assuming it's true, which I get the distinct feeling it is, you wouldn't be very happy with grandma either.
I actually got mad. I was like, where's everybody at? And then I remember seeing the canine unit, and I remember approaching the cop and saying, did you find anything? Did you find anything? He said, this dog's not meant for looking for children, especially after this amount of time. So I took offense to that. I got more angry. They weren't searching houses. I remember walking into people's houses. I was like, can I search your place? I did that to about 2 or 3 different places, and then it was all a blur after that. You just start to break more and more. The feelings get worse. Then it's all pretty well a blur. My brother showed up, parents, family members started showing up a little bit. You got to remember COVID-19 had just started. There was no such thing as the bubble yet. There was a point where I remember, like, we're going to skip time because I don't remember everything.
And by the way, I don't want that to sound like, I don't want to come off saying, hey, you're entitled to your own opinion. That is for sure, as we always will be on this channel. I just want him to feel safe. If he does get back to me, maybe he's changed his mind. He's decided not to. Hey, Melinda. That's all I'm saying. Okay, let's keep listening.
I remember there was a time where Dorothy said to Norman Brown or Ashley that a psychic medium told her to go to the brook with her puppy and search. And I remember Dorothy just disappearing and searching. I remember Norman telling me that. Not saying that's a weird coincidence, but she was definitely at the brook after he went missing. I remember, it's hard to remember everything. I remember.
I'm just going to rewind that.
The brook.
I just want to rewind this for a second and hear this again.
Yet. There was a point where I remember, like, we're going to skip time because I don't remember everything. I remember there was a time where Dorothy said to Norman Brown or Ashley that a psychic medium told her to go to the brook with her puppy and search. And I remember Dorothy just disappearing and searching. I remember Norman telling me that. Not saying that's a weird coincidence, but she was definitely at the brook after he went missing. I remember, it's hard to remember everything. I remember a lot of people around, starting to pick up. I noticed the fire department. I noticed search and rescue eventually. I noticed the helicopter just real low. It's tough to remember. We're talking 4 years ago, and it's all a blur. So I can only skip to different parts that I remember. I remember through that evening, I remember Ashley crying herself to sleep. I was right there. She literally cried herself to sleep. And I remember the grandmother playing a video game on Facebook. I remember that going on for a while. And then I remember myself sitting at the window, and I don't think I took my eyes off the window. And I remember wondering how you can focus on a video game. I remember thinking that, like, how can you focus on a video game after losing your grandchild? But, that was besides the point. I was mad at her anyway because he wasn't supposed to be there. And how do you lose a 3-year-old child? So I wasn't too happy with her to begin with. I remember 3 a.m. rolled around. She was still on the video game. I snuck out and I went and searched. I remember going down to the baseball field. I remember that evening.
I'm just rewinding it again. I'm sorry, everybody. I just want to really make sure I understand all this.
I remember through that evening, I remember Ashley crying herself to sleep. I was right there. She literally cried herself to sleep. And I remember the grandmother playing a video game on Facebook. I remember that going on for a while. And then I remember myself sitting at the window, and I don't think I took my eyes off the window. And I remember wondering.
It's so sad. The grandmother is playing video games while her daughter's crying herself to sleep. It's pretty wild visual, isn't it?
How you can focus on a video game. I remember thinking that, like, how can you focus on a video game after losing your grandchild? But, that was besides the point.
Thanks,
I was
Donna.
mad at her anyway because he wasn't supposed to be there. And how do you lose a 3-year-old child? So I wasn't too happy with her to begin with. I remember 3 a.m. rolled around. She was still on the video game. I snuck out and I went and searched. I remember going down to the baseball field. I remember them saying that Halifax search and rescue had just arrived, and the cops said, you need to go back home. You're in shock. And if we need vital information from you, we don't want to have to look for you. So they made me go home once again. I remember seeing my brother for a split second. He searched for 3-4 days straight without sleep.
Oh my God. Oh my God. 3-4 days without sleep.
Chaos, I remember chaos. I remember the cops, all chaos. It's like they didn't know what they were doing. I remember. Okay, I'll go back to day one again. Instead of 3 a.m., I remember the cops coming with pictures of Dylan's boots. Or no, that was in the morning, so we'll skip that. I remember seeing the boots, something about the boots on social media, on the news, something like they found them or something like that. And I remember my older sister, Kathy, she got so mad because it shouldn't have been on social media. We hadn't known about it yet, so it's like, what was found? We didn't know. So I lost my train of thought. So we got to 3 a.m. I remember not going to sleep that night. When I was made to go back home, I remember seeing the train going with all the equipment because we just had the mass shooting in Nova Scotia. We live in the same community. So we had Gabriel Wortman go around and shoot 22, 23 people. And that was scary enough. They didn't use their alert systems. They didn't do anything. That's its own sad story. And I remember watching the train go, and I remember the cops saying that they're all alerted to watch for a small toddler on the tracks, to check all their cargo, to check everything.
I don't know. I gotta go back and watch this again because when I'm toggling back and forth and reading the chat, I missed some things. I don't know if he said it specifically. He did not mention yesterday who found the boots, but we did talk about the boots because he said that Dorothy had bought them and that they were not discovered later to not be Dylan's boots. And I said, oh, interesting, planted. He said, it would appear to be so. Yes. And that added to the element of suspect because of who bought them. So I don't know who found them. I think it was the search and rescue team, but I'm not 100%. Again, if Jason comes on, yeah, exactly, then we can ask him. Find out how she was abused as a child. Yeah. The feelings I get, which I do have that ability that has come over me. This was no accident. Poon has done nothing to do with that or moment. If I'm allowed to say anything, do have, yes, of course. Yeah. 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 No. Yeah. And I agree. I don't know. I just, my first instincts, Grandma Dorothy.
Remember search and rescue going with their
and Grandma Dorothy's boyfriend. I'm not gonna give you the details about that. But if Jason comes up, he can, if he wants to share. That'll be up to him.
With their heat signature guns and stuff like that. Now you got to remember, in May it was chilly that night, so that was another panic that was going through me. It's nighttime. He had probably peed himself. He probably you just go through the worst. Try not to cry. You try not to. You think about the worst, and it destroys you. But I would. So they were going with their guns, their heat signature guns, and what I've learned now is that when Dylan was out that night, most likely he was really cold, and 9 times out of 10, the heat signature gun's not going to pick him up. And those are the facts. So it's and search and rescue was over 3.5 hours late. It took 2 hours and 48 minutes to relay to the EMO that a child was missing. So it took cops almost 3 hours to relay information to EMO, which is a very important piece of a missing child. That
I watched because Jason asked me to watch W5 last night because I had had told him I really don't know a lot about the case. I wanted to come to you first, and it was W5 verified this, and they even said it on the W5 special. If you haven't seen it, it's on Jason's channel, and I can't play it here regrettably because of it's W5. If I'm understanding this, Ashley, his wife, had an order against him and was living with Dorothy. No, because he told me they went to Dorothy's first, then to Ashley's. So Ashley, I think, I don't know the timing of this. They had a fight the week before. Yes, they had a fight the week before. That is true. They had an order of protection against each other. They could not go near each other. So, yes. So, but they were not the ones present. It was Dorothy's mother who was present. So that would, I mean, you can't, a fight is a fight, and I guess if Dylan disappeared in their home, that would be something different. But he disappeared in the middle of the day at Ashley's mother's home while Ashley was caring for him, while Dylan went out with his sister and his mother. And then on the way home, he wanted to get Dylan, as he's explained. And 3 arrives almost 3 hours after Dylan's missing. And Ashley's mother hadn't even called her own daughter, Ashley, or Dylan to report, or Jason rather, to report Dylan missing almost 3 hours later, while she was the one caring for him. So, yeah, I get the semantics of that could look odd, but I think not when they weren't the one watching him, and I think everybody has fights, but yes, apparently he threatened her and she got physical, and so they both had a no contact order with each other.
sends out the alert system, and we had a non-intrusive alert that day. And since Dylan's been missing, they have a vulnerable person alert, and that was done because of my son. Ever since he went missing, they
Yeah, good
they
question.
made that alert so anyone that's vulnerable, a small child and older men and women, so it'd go on all TV and cell phones and social media. So there's been some changes, but for day 2, I'm getting all dry talking about it. It's really hard to talk about this stuff. You have no idea. So day 2, everyone woke up. Chief McNeil showed up.
As far as I know, the only person, I don't know if they were all questioned. I don't think so, because they said basically from the beginning that Dylan drowned in the water, that Jason was the only one that took a polygraph because he asked them to do a polygraph, but nobody else was actually polygraphed, from what he told me last night, if you can imagine. So, yeah, it's wild. It's absolutely wild.
Showed Ashley and the grandmother photos of the boots, and they both agreed that they were Dylan's boots. They both said yes, they're Dylan's boots. And I I looked, but I couldn't say, for sure or not. They were bought on Easter. I don't know what his boots look like. Last thing I was worried about was a pair of boots. I wasn't even there when he went missing, so I don't know what boots he had on. I don't even know if he had the jacket and the pants and all this stuff that they say. I have no idea. I can only go by what they say because I wasn't there. I didn't dress him that morning. I remember we left for a minute to go home and probably break down. I remember going home and bawling, and I remember punching the floor till my knuckles were shooting out blood. Just the anger and I let it all out. I remember my best friend showing up after we went back to the grandmother's, and my best friend Jeremy, he even made a statement about it. He walked up the stairs, he seen the grandmother Dorothy, and he had said, "Where's Jason?" And Dorothy said, or no, I was back by then, so I was back. But anyway, Dorothy told my best friend, Jason, he's upstairs. He should be out looking for his kid. And my friend Jeremy McDonald thought that was the most horrible thing to say at that moment in time. Like, how does one that just lost a child say to the father behind his back, he should be out looking for his child, like in this, attitude? So he just brushed it off.
Especially when he just finished telling us, and this is not the first time we've heard this, and it does make sense to me. We've heard this before in other cases where the police say, "No, I want you in your home." Because I think if anybody was to find their own child, can you imagine the trauma? So yeah, I know. I know, Marie. I know. It's wild. It's wild. I don't know, Donna. I don't know. I think the whole point of them complaining was the fact that they felt that Dylan drowned and they stayed with that story. And that was it. And that's why they were so upset, because they really did not pursue a traditional investigation. And that's kind of the point with Jack and Lily, right? That exactly. And, y'all, the same thing happened with Jack and Lily. I mean, everybody, I've seen mainstream media report, they were out there really quickly. I don't think 3 hours in Dylan's case is quick for search and rescue. And I think it was longer for Jack and Lily because they weren't out there. The search and rescue, I don't think started till what? I thought it was like 3:30, 4:35 or something. They were reported missing at 10, 9:30, 10. I guess we don't really know the exact time. But I mean, it seemed to me even longer than 3 hours, and I don't understand that. No, but it wasn't low. If the water level was so low, how would it have carried him? Well, that's what Dylan's argument is, or Jason's argument is. But I mean, the videos of the search and rescue pictures that you can see on W5 do show a pretty like a pretty crazy water level. Like it's in springtime, that's runoff weather. That's that's runoff weather. So it doesn't, I mean, it could be I personally think there's many questionable traits in these cases. Yes, I know. But I guess Ashley and Jason's whole, frustration was that there was just this, not like looking at any other narratives, and I mean, could you blame them? Like, they didn't find him. They stopped searching after 6 days. They only searched for 6 days. I don't find that to be acceptable either, you know. Jack and Lily, wasn't it the exact same time period after 6 days that they said, hey, we think this is, you know, they've simple case that the kids walked away. There's nothing to see here. Sorry, okay, I'm just getting settled in my room because the landlord's coming back. Because the toilet was leaking downstairs into the apartment below. Yeah, so, yeah, so I'm just reading your notes. I don't remember. You guys probably are asking me more than I know. But yeah, I can't imagine. I don't know, sweetie. Okay, let's watch some more of this.
Found me. He gave me a big hug. He started searching also. But I do believe that he said that Jeff said the similar thing. He's upstairs with Ashley. He should be out looking for his kids. So Dorothy was very ignorant that day. I remember my other sister, Nikki, showing up, and she'd be like, "You're not family. What are you doing here? You know, you're just the stepsister," or something like that. And her and my sister got into it because, you know, like, really? Like, these are things I remember my family telling me, that Dorothy was not a very friendly, welcoming person whatsoever. I remember going to the command center. Me, Ashley, my sister Kathy, and in the command center, I remember them explaining certain things, like if Dylan in fact made it to the river, an example of what they were talking about, with it being cold water, chances are his clothing would have suctioned onto him, and it's possible that he could have been pushed from the river to the Bay of Fundy within 30-40 minutes. If that's true or not, I have no idea. I remember Chief McNeil, I think he lied about something that...
Well, that's true, Lori. That is what Jason said to me last night on the phone when we were talking about Jack and Lily. He said, you know, he thinks that the authorities maybe learned a little bit from their case with Dylan and maybe why they got a little more searches. But, you know, at the end of the day, they also called it, you know, for Jack and Lily, that they were changing gears, moving gears into a recovery mission, right? Within 6 days, because they firmly, I guess, believed they were out in the backyard. So, if he ended up in the water, you don't think it was an accident? Well, it was hitting me last night too, because we never really talked when we were talking on the phone last night about it. You know, we didn't talk about the fact that it was COVID. But you know, and when I watched the W5 interview of the private investigator that Dylan and Ashley had hired at the time, he said they ran out of money. Regrettably, I feel so horrible for them. So they'd no longer have their attorney or private eye because they just couldn't continue to afford it. But he was talking about the private investigator on W5 was talking about when he went to interview, knock on the neighbors' doors after Dylan first disappeared. Like, this was a month after Dylan had disappeared, that he was shocked to learn that the police had not door knocked or asked anybody anything if they saw anything. And it occurred to me, well, because of COVID too, you know, probably people were not outside, because that was May. And I'm pretty sure in Canada here, we were in full lockdown at that point, except you could be outside. You could be outside. So I guess that kind of, maybe I contradicted myself there then. And now that I think about it, Grandma turned away for seconds to tie the pup. Well, that doesn't make sense, Michelle. I mean, you can't turn away from 18 seconds and then not have, like, like there was no crying, there was no screaming, there was no footprints, there was like no evidence of him. Like it's not, it's a subdivision there they've got no trees. There's just, I can't imagine that if grandma had gone and looked around the corner of the home, if he did run to the water, she couldn't have gone and even looked there around the corner because he couldn't have got that far in 18 seconds. Like that whole thing is just doesn't seem to add up to me. Yeah, he might have been fast, but 18 seconds? That was a distance he would have had to travel if you watch the W5. I mean, it wasn't far, but it was far enough that he wouldn't have made it in 18 seconds, I don't think.
Day, and my sister
Anyway.
caught on, and she was like, "Excuse me." Chief McNeil is not a very good person in my eyes. The chief of police, he's one of a kind. I remember Norman said he went in. It was, I think, day 2, and he went into the police station to ask a question, and the chief didn't know he was there yet, and the media wanted to do a press release or whatever, and he heard the chief say, "Hopefully this is the last one." You know, like what? Like how can you be like? Hopefully it's the last one. Like, I'm sorry that you're having a busy day, but a child's missing. If it was your child, I'm sure it would have been better. I'm sure they would have had resources out, you know, just like that. I don't know why he was ignorant that day. We caught Chief McNeil in many lies. If you guys watch W5 News, Where's Dylan? Then you guys would see, you know, he lied in that. We had a police complaint commissioner hearing. We hired a lawyer. It cost us over $6,000 to hire her on pro bono. And we learned that the deputy chief was pushed into retirement after my son's hearing. And Tom Fitzgerald or Fitzpatrick, head of Colchester Search and Rescue, he lost respect of the chief that day. He told me that to my face in front of my lawyer heard it. But when you're told things off the record, you can't bring that information into the hearing. So it's, you basically have to live with it, knowing that these things happened. And anyway, I'm going to go back to day 2. Day 2 is a really big blur. The more and more time went on, the more and more.
Well, one thing Jason said to me, because I asked him last night, so what do you think happened? And he thinks there's some corruption, something or another going on. And he said, I just find it interesting as maybe it's just a coincidence that Jack and Lily went missing in May. Dylan went missing in May, and May is International Missing Child's Month. So I don't know. I don't know. He did not expand upon that. And I didn't get a chance to ask him what more he wanted to say about that, other than maybe it's just some kind of a weird coincidence. But he seems to think there's a big trafficking ring. Well, he knows, as we all have learned, not far from there in Halifax, and that a lot of kids seem to go missing in May around there. So I don't know. It's pretty wild.
I explained at the beginning, you know, it's your heart's just pounding. You can't eat. You don't want to talk to anybody. It's a horrible feeling. I remember day 3, we had a meeting, I think, a big meeting with everybody. And that's when they explained the mannequin. They wanted to try a mannequin the same weight as Dylan and the same clothing, just make the mannequin identical. That mannequin failed, by the way. It wouldn't leave the brook whatsoever. And it would catch up on certain areas that everything would catch up on. You could throw a pair of boots or you could throw a ball into the brook and the stuff would end up in the same spot the mannequin did. Code 1 did their own test. They threw 3 basketballs in, had them painted, and not one of them made it past the 102 highway. Not one of them. So they did the mannequin test. I'm going to leave it at the mannequin test because I'm forgetting things. And if I just take a break and make a part 2 of this, then that would be easier for me because it's hard to talk about this. So I get overwhelmed and I start to get upset and then my brain is not working right. So we'll call this part 1. I'll come back on and explain more into day 2, 3, 4, and 5 later on.
Okay, let's go look for that one. Yeah, it's a very, 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 very sad, you know. Yeah. I just can't imagine. I cannot imagine. May 25th, 2024, National Missing Children's Day. He's got a video about that. Sorry, y'all. I have another link, but I don't think I clicked on the right one for part 2. Yeah. I hope he's okay. And just I hope it didn't upset him, our talk last night, you know? Ay, ay, ay. I can't even imagine. I can't. I just don't know. Okay, come on. Sorry, everybody. Yeah, you think you're organized, and then people texting and coming and going, and today, I'm just gonna look for part 2. Search part 2. I mean, what do you think about the difference while I'm looking between his response and Daniel? Just tell me what you feel. Like, how do you feel between the two? Well, I don't know, y'all. I'm gonna click on another one here. This is another one. We'll have to pull up. Yeah, I know. There was a few 18 seconds. That's just wild to even think Dylan darted. Exactly. Yeah, I know, Donna. I know. I know. I know. Yeah, I agree. I agree. 18 seconds. That's just wild even Dylan darted. Well, this is just it. And you can see on W5, they show you the distance. And it's like for a 3-year-old, it's short little legs and stuff. Yeah, no one is even doing the basic skills needed to look for. No, I know. I know. Well, he sent me a letter. You'd be appalled. You'd be appalled. This is why he emailed the attorney general. They sent him a letter saying, because there is a pending arrest, which isn't true, they are refusing to talk to him. They're refusing to update him on his own son's case, if you can imagine. So, yeah, there's that. Yeah, he showed me the letter. He sent it. Again, I wanted to get his permission before talking about any of this today, so I'm not going to show you, but I can tell you that he sent it to me and showed me. But there's, there's no criminal investigation going on. I know, but they don't have the money for a lawyer anymore either. Because I said, well, what about your lawyer? And he's like, well, we don't have one anymore because they can't afford one. So they're just refusing to update him. So I think he sent that. I said, you need to contact the attorney general about that because the letter basically, you've been a pain in the butt. So, kind of thing. But the excuse that they gave in writing was that there is a criminal investigation or an arrest or something about to happen, like an arraignment, or I forget the term, the legal term, which is not true. So it's like, what? Okay, let's listen to this while I look for part 2.
Police taking Dylan's boots to transfer them to Truro, Nova Scotia Police Department. And that's because the boots found in the brook May 6, 2020 are not Dylan's boots. And that is the update that I wasn't going to tell anybody, but things change, and I feel like updating the public. It's been 4 years, and that's a pretty big mistake to have. So when Ashley Brown identified them, being in shock, like we both were, you make mistakes and forget what things look like, especially when Dylan's boots were new. They were bought Easter morning. The grandmother had bought them, so they were new. We hadn't seen them that much. He hadn't worn them that much. And going through a home video, it was noticed that there was a pair of boots there, very similar to the ones that were found in Leper Brook, May 6, 2020, on the first day of his disappearance, found by the Truro police, which are the boots that I had, which the reason the Miramichi police were transferring them is because I had the boots. They were given to me, and they were very precious to me. And that's why Miramichi got involved, because the Truro police sent me an email stating that they wanted me to drop off his boots there and they would get them from there. So the big news is, the crazy news is that the boots found are not Dylan's. So there's never been anything found of Dylan's ever. Boots for Dylan is not a thing no more. I found out 2 months ago, and ever since then, I haven't been right in the head. My depression's gotten worse. You know, it's like a pretty big deal. You know, the last 4 years, you think, you know, Dylan's boots were found. They think Dylan went into a brook because that's where his boots were found. And in fact, they weren't. And to find out that they weren't after 4 years is a pretty big mistake, as you could say. I didn't make the mistake. I wouldn't say that they were Dylan's or not, because I couldn't verify that they were Dylan's or not, because I can't remember what they look like. And that's normal for, you know, for me anyway, for a father. You know, the last thing you're looking at is a pair of boots. So when the cops tried to get me to identify them, I said I can't, because I don't remember what they look like. And Ashley and the grandmother, I'm going to assume, verified them. So that's what happened. And for 4 years, us thinking that they were his, and then to find out they're not his, is a pretty big deal. So I've been trying to manage that in my head for a little bit. It's tough, this world, living through the impossible, and there's always things changing. And I never expected in a million years that the boots found in the brook weren't Dylan's to begin with, all this time, and they weren't his. So the cops, they've already been to Walmart. They're doing the best they can to figure out what's going on. And I don't know what the steps are, because they've been pretty quiet about it, but I know that they're investigating right now, and they're trying to find out where his actual boots are. So right now, Dylan went missing without a trace, and not almost without a trace. He went missing without a trace. There's never been anything found of Dylan's. It's no one's fault that the mistake was made.
So how did the boots that weren't Dylan's? Yes, exactly, Michelle. I gotta go check my supper in the oven, but so that's what I was saying. When I was speaking with him last night, he said it was later discovered that the boots weren't Dylan's, and I said, so they were in the water and they weren't Dylan's, so planted? He said apparently it would seem so. And Dorothy was the one that bought the boots for him 2 weeks earlier, the ones that were in the river, but they weren't his. So, yeah. So, yeah, I'm not sure what to say about that, but yeah, I'm just gonna go check on my supper. I'll be right back.
Under shock, and most professionals will know exactly what I'm talking about. When you're in shock, you don't remember certain things. So it was the home video that sparked the memory, and was like, shit, you know. And I don't know. That's the best I got. I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. I'm angry about it. The mistake to me should have never been made, but it doesn't mean I'm in the right for saying that. I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like we wasted 4 years. I feel like if they weren't his boots, you know, they wouldn't have focused on the brook, and they would have done probably other things, considering nothing was found, no footprints, no evidence, and apparently no boots. They would have done different things. And I feel like that aspect was not offered because they found the boots. And now that they have this new information that Dylan's boots aren't the same, and that those in fact aren't Dylan's found in the brook, hopefully they step up the investigation and realize that it looks like. My biggest question right now is, I'm ignoring everyone's questions, by the way. I just don't feel like answering questions. Now I lost my train of thought. So I lost my train of thought. I'll just look at your questions. Maybe it'll spark my memory if I can figure it out. Yeah, I'm reading the comments now because I forgot my train of thought. I know it was about the boots, but I forget what I was going to mention after that. My life's definitely a nightmare. There's always changes, but this is the biggest change. Oh, my thoughts now are, why are a brand new pair of boots thrown in a brook the same day my son goes missing? So that's my big question. Who planted the boots? Because it sure as hell doesn't seem like a little boy went into the brook now. It sure seems like nothing's ever been found, and a pair of boots were thrown in the same day he went missing. So who threw in them boots? Where are Dylan's actual boots? So that's my thought now, is like, where's Dylan? 4 years we find a pair of boots and they're not his, because his mom identified the wrong pair, and that sparked her memory from a video. I'll share the difference. I'll share the boots. I'll share original, or I'll show you the original ones, and then I'll show you the ones that are actually Dylan's, and they're quite a bit different. The ones I have, they got black tread. They have a black stripe down the back of the boot and stuff like that. And his actual boots, it's, I do believe, the same cartoon or TV show for kids. And these ones have an orange line going down the back of the boot, and the tread's a different color. And it's just, they're different. No. So that's the big update, that boots for Dylan isn't a thing anymore. Nothing's ever been found of Dylan Ehler. Just nothing. So I don't even know how to process it myself. It's a pretty big piece of information. And a lot of you people have helped me along the way and donated and did all these amazing things for me. And a lot of you give me this information to look up and to investigate. So it's, you know, I believe deep down that because of you guys, I find out certain things and I get through hard times, and I feel like you guys deserve the update too. I found out that somehow the hate group found out a lot about what was going on. So I figured, well, if they knew about it, then why don't my supporters know? So I'm on here tonight to explain everything. And that's it. That's the update, that the cops are investigating.
Okay, sorry, I cut that a little bit short, didn't I? Sorry.
New Brunswick police taking Dylan's boots to transfer them. I don't even know how to process, because boots into the brook the same day Dylan goes missing is quite a turn. So yeah, you guys know any resources, reach out to me. Let's bring Dylan home.
It's horrible. I feel so bad for him. You can hear it. Yeah. I just find it, I don't know. I would have a hard time as well. Okay, let's get into, I'm trying to find another one of his videos. And then what I thought we would do today, what I wanted to do, y'all, is, so like Jack and Lily, the child that vanished. Yeah, I know. I wanted to play his assessment of Jack and Lily for you for our Jack and Lily discussion. And also, I know. Also wanted to ask you all, we'll watch one more of his videos here. What, because we asked yesterday, but I think there's some different people here today. So I just want to ask you, what you all want me to cover next. Do you want me to go back to Jack and Lily? It's a crime and shame, all the times that people were up interviewing. I want to go back to Sebastian. The only thing I can think of, because so much has happened, is to go back to the beginning of all the interviews that were done. And just let me give me your thoughts and what you'd like to cover next. And then I'm gonna pull up what I wanted to do too, but because I don't have access to the documents myself, for the court documents, we'll have to listen to somebody else. If you guys listen to anybody covering the Jack and Lily court documents, I also have documents here, but I'm gonna wait till if I hear back from Jason first about their court case, because I think it would be better if he was able to explain. But anyways, give me some feedback. I'm going to play a couple more here for you from his channel. Just looking. Oh, it's just heartbreaking. I hope Jason's okay today. I hope I didn't trigger him to get upset. You know what I mean? I'm going to show you this one here. This looks like a heartbreaker. The song was made for 3-year-old Dylan, missing since May 6th. Let's Bring Dylan Home. 4 years ago. Dylan went missing May 6, 2020. So 5.5 years ago. So not that long ago.
How's it going, everybody? We are the parents of the missing 3-year-old boy, Dylan Ehler.
Yeah.
Missing May 6, 2020. I just wanted to say thank you, Jeff, for making this song. It's touched my heart. And I hope it touches the hearts of thousands of people. Spread awareness. And I'm hoping for the best this spring and summer for upcoming search events, which you can follow on our Facebook page, Dylan Ehler Search Updates. Please support, please help, please share. Let's bring Dylan home.
Thank you, Jeff, for making this beautiful song. It means so much to us that you make the song about Dylan. And I'd also like to thank the rest of the community for all of their support.
So, you know what I have to say is pretty commendable is this was posted. This video was posted 4 years ago. So they never reunited after the week before Dylan went missing, and they had the fight. They never got back together. Because I asked him that. So they, had the fight, had a no contact order, and then Dylan goes missing. And here they are. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Where Dylan, here they are a year later, getting together and overcoming their differences to sit in the same room and for the benefit of Dylan. So I think that is incredibly admirable. I really do.
Grandma left just a crack by the door. Story was told and no one's ever sure. Mom and Dad are apart with a broken heart. Forever searching is their only way to start. It's on the shore. Just where did you go? It's on the shore. Why did you go? It's on the shore. Forevermore. Papers all say that he'll be coming home. Papers all say that we now sleep alone. Even if my heart comes walking through the door, his boots on the floor forevermore. Boots on the shore, I can't take no more. Boots on the shore, we can't take no more. Boots by the brook, we tracked each tiny step. Someone holds the key, but the secret seems to be kept. Forever struggling to find out what is real. Let's fill those boots and find what the vandals did steal. The boots on the shore, just where did you go? The boots on the shore, why did you go? Those boots on the shore, forevermore. Let's not forget those boots left by the shore. Forever loved, forevermore. Searching for Dylan. Those boots need a filling.
So I didn't know he had a sister named Lily too. I don't know whose child that is, because I know Jason told me that Dylan was his only child. Yeah, it's really sad. It's really, yeah, very, very sad. So listen, we're gonna watch what he has to say about Jack and Lily for today, and then tomorrow we're gonna play some more Dylan videos if he doesn't get back to me. Jason, Dylan's dad, doesn't get back to me, and then I'm gonna go through the documents. Has everybody here already heard the Jack and Lily's reading of the documents, the redacted RCMP documents? So I'm going to do that for Jack and Lily tomorrow, unless everybody's already heard them. Then let me know if you've read them or listened to somebody else like Justin, Clutch Them Pearls, or whoever else go through the Jack and Lily documents. Let's pull up Dylan's dad's Jason. This is a live he did 6 months ago on his channel DED, which we should also encourage you, of course, to go and subscribe. And streamed 6 months ago.
Jeez, I got 4 people on here already.
So this is Dylan Ehler's dad, Jason Ehler's, live from his own Facebook, or his own YouTube page, rather. Veronica's the only one answering me. You guys are like so secretive. It's like pulling teeth to get you guys to give me a response. You're like, whatever, Liane. Or Liane probably won't do it anyway. LOL. So anyways, this is his thoughts on Jack and Lily.
It's been a minute since I've been on YouTube. I've done a few TikTok lives. Those are always fun. So how about you guys ask me questions? I'll answer. And then I'll give my opinion on this whole situation with Jack and Lily, which I think the public's, I don't know, kind of disgusting on the way they're being treated, but just my opinion. Just don't leave me hanging. Make sure you guys are asking me some questions, or I'll get bored and leave.
I mean, I can see what he's saying about how he's disgusted because he's very much against people accusing anybody, which I totally understand. But I don't know that they're the same people, and their behavior's the same either. So, anyways, that's all I'll say there. I just, he's not inconsistent, and anyways, it's his impression, and I get everybody has the right to be deemed innocent, and they did talk about it in the W5 that the Facebook community that they had closed down was vicious and spread a lot of false rumors about himself and his ex Dylan's mom. So I can understand that point of view.
If I can even remember how to check comments on this thing. Someone want to ask me something so I can see if I can figure this out again. I see you too, Jen. I see you. Someone want to ask me something so I can figure this out? Oops, sorry. Try this. Top messages. There we go. Hello, everybody. I am doing okay. Kind of, I guess. It's been a weird day. Every day is a weird day in my life. Do I think the kids went into the woods or across the road? I think that it's very possible they wandered into the woods. It's very possible that the parents are being honest. It's very possible that it's too early to tell, really. To be all honest, I've been searching for my son for 5 years straight, and I've talked to every professional you could probably think of, and I'm saying that it's too early. With everybody digging into their past and their life, I think it's wrong. I think it's disgusting. And, the same outcome happens to every person with a missing loved one. And it happens more so with kids. And making little groups about them and investigating them and not having a clue on what you're doing. One, it interferes with an investigation. It confuses people. It's misinformation. It takes the focus off the kids. It's a whole lot of things. Like if people actually, like this is my opinion, if people actually cared, they would actually be in the woods searching. So they didn't find the kids in 6 days. Well, I've heard of cases where they searched for this. It was a young child anyway. I'm not sure. I can't remember if it was the States or Canada, but I think a couple of years they couldn't find this kid. And, by the end of it, the child was actually in the search vicinity and it was just overlooked. Like they just missed it. Like it's so easy to miss something in the brush. It would actually blow your mind. Like you could walk past that little child, like
That's a very true statement.
so many times and you wouldn't see. And it happens all the time. Like I've seen many different cases where they didn't find this child for years and years and years.
My
And,
baby Sarmy.
you
Yeah.
know, they went back to the main search area, which I guess in Lily and Jack's situation would be the woods. I'm going to assume behind their house. And they might have just walked past. And or someone took them, or
What I
the
think.
parents were neglectful. You know, we could all have all these opinions, but at the end of the day, it's really, let's just say we were all wrong, and, you know, like they were okay parents and they did the best they could, and the whole world just destroyed them for nothing, like they did me and Ashley. The whole world, we had Canada's biggest cyberbullying. It was way worse than what's happening to these guys. Like, I can tell you that. Probably because COVID-19 just happened and everybody was bored. And most of it was nonsense, but it took its mental toll on me and Ashley. So it's too early to tell. I had people send me information on Lily and Jack. There was I think it was a kindergarten teacher, or anyway, I think it was a teacher from their school, I'm pretty sure. And I'm not going to get into details, but it was sent to my investigators that a white van was in that area. And I have pictures of the license plate and everything. You know, it's almost like a lot of people turned to me when this happened and, I don't know, put trust in me, I guess. But I've got a lot of information on them since they went missing, and I've sent it to the right people. You know, it's very possible they were kidnapped. Maybe this van that was at their school has something to do with it. Maybe not. You know, but to destroy them, I think it's wrong. I mean, they're not crying enough on TV or any of that, right? Like, my opinion on the news. So when I went on the news, the last thing you want to do is cry on the news. You know, you suck it up, you suck it in. You know, you're on the news with, you know, 1 million people are going to watch it. So the last thing you want to do is cry, you know, and then you got to think of shock. So you're in shock, and, you know, sometimes you just can't cry. You know, it's all these things that people don't understand, like going through the emotions, going through the moment, you know, ambiguous loss. Like, none of you understand it. I mean, counselors don't even understand it. I've been trying to get counseling for years, and my most recent counselor, 30 years, I'm grieving the loss of children and adults and all that stuff, and she has no idea the tools to give me. So it's you can't judge them on how they're acting. So anyway, that's my rant on that. It's too early to tell. I think we should be easier on the parents. I mean, I get that things might look fishy or sketchy, or, you know, their past might not be up to your standards, but, you know, like, I guarantee a lot of you have a pretty nasty past or done things that you're not proud of. So, you know, just, I think judging them is just should slow down, but that's just my opinion. Search and rescue. Okay, I'm going to answer questions. I'll stop rambling. You think the do I think they were abducted? It's possible.
Interesting. He has a license
I
plate
feel like
number.
my son was taken. The boots aren't his. Ashley's mom identified them wrong. She went to the Truro police station probably 7 to 9 months ago. She cried. She had a meeting with them. She was with her dad, and she said she made the biggest mistake of her life. She identified Dylan's boots wrong. And then I found out, and that was actually the one thing that search and rescue. Okay, I'm going to answer questions. I'll stop rambling. You think the
Sure about the white van. I just rewound it a bit because I find this
do I think they were abducted? It's possible. I feel like my son was taken.
He didn't say this last night. So
Ashley's mom identified them wrong. She went to the Truro police station.
Ashley's mom identified the
Um,
boots wrong. I didn't hear this from him last
Probably
night.
7 to 9 months ago. She cried. She had a meeting with them. She was with her dad, and she said she made the biggest mistake of her life. She identified Dylan's boots wrong. And then I found out, and that was actually the one thing that broke the shit out of me. Like, I mean, I've been fighting every day for 5 years, and I don't even know how I'm doing it. Like, the movie team says that my fight drive is one of a kind, so apparently it's one of a kind. So everyone that says they would fight just like me, you probably wouldn't, but I imagine you would give it the best of your abilities, the best that you can do. I neglected my entire life, and I just focused on the beginning. It was searching the waterways, and then I ended up searching the whole Bay of Fundy. It took me almost 5 years, 4.5 years. I searched every inch of it, and a lot of it was by myself. So I'm looking for remains of my baby by myself most of the time.
That is so sad. He said somebody from the school. Yeah. So I'm just going to clarify. He said that when Jack and Lily first went missing, I guess they thought that he would be a good source of information. Somebody from the school sent him a picture of a white van that had been hanging around the school for his private investigator to look into, is what I'm pretty positive he said. So that's wild. And he sent it to the appropriate authorities. By the way, the RCMP were not the ones investigating Dylan's case. Excuse me. It was the Truro Police Force.
And it sucked. And I have 100,000 videos to you guys can go watch of my searches on YouTube, TikTok, everywhere. The videos, I don't know why I started making videos. I was on a search one day. I started videotaping a little bit, and then I was like, I'm gonna put this in a video, and I'm gonna put music to it to
That's what he said last night on the phone as well. So I think he has a drone. I think he searched all of the it took him 4.5 years, the land part of it. I don't know that he was in the water, but I'd have to verify that with him if he does get back to me.
Catch people. I don't know, to catch their attention. Music's a good way to, make people watch. I don't really know. I just started doing it, and then it just started blowing up. I was getting followers from the UK, Australia, every part of the world, like Africa, everywhere. Like, I've talked to mediums, psychics all around the world. I recently did one with Africa, a lady in Africa. I did 3 of them with, I think, 2 different provinces in the UK. One of them I've never even heard of. I'm on Nancy Grace. I'm on W5 News. We're making a documentary movie for Netflix. I've talked to some of the best psychic mediums in the world. Some of them have their own TV shows where they worked alongside police. It's crazy. 28 people. Hello, 28 people. Do I think the parents of Lily and Jack are addicts? Now, I would be no different than you guys if I were to say, yes, I think they were. No, I think they're not. I think they're human beings. And most of you parents out there have done drugs with or without your kids at home. And you can say you didn't, but you did. I can guarantee it. Like, nobody's perfect, guys. Like, are the addicts? I have no idea. I wouldn't judge them and say, like, that's where I disagree with that stuff. Like, unless you have proof, then stop slandering people's names. Like if you have physical proof that they're drug addicts, you have a hospital record stating that they were in the hospital for drugs, or
Don't
you know,
forget, he's not following the case like we have been, and he doesn't probably realize that Daniel's admitted to it, right? Like he's said he had an issue, and this was posted 6 months ago. Thank you, Don. I saw that.
like some kind of proof, that still doesn't mean that's why their kids went missing. Like drugs got nothing to do with it. Like that's another big point. Okay, let's say they're drug addicts. It's probably still not the reason why their kids went missing. Maybe they were neglected, but we don't know that for sure. Like that's the problem with social media. Everybody has an opinion, but everybody has a right to an opinion. But to go on to make a group, and like, I think you guys get my point. Like, do you realize each and every one of you, if you got a young child and that were to go missing today, you would get the same bullshit they're getting right now. Every one of you. And then you got to think, how would that make you feel? And then think about that, and then maybe treat these guys a little better until you actually have solid proof. Because hearsay and, all this stuff is crazy, man. Like, I've done drugs. I've done drugs when I was growing up. Doesn't make me a drug addict. I've been out, partied, drank, got into things I wish I hadn't have. Doesn't make me a drug addict. Like, come on, guys. Luckily enough, when I had Dylan changed my whole life. I was hanging out with the wrong people, the wrong crowd. My baby changed my life. Like, I know people that work full-time, take care of their kids, and do cocaine the odd time. Like, it doesn't make them a bad person. Like, if that's what gets them to blow off some steam, who gives a shit? It's no different than drinking or smoking dope or anything else. Like, I get tired of seeing opinions and opinions and opinions. So, and I'm definitely upfront. Like, I don't care what people think of me. So, been there, done it, don't care. So this person here asked, with psychic mediums, has any of the theories matched up so far? No, they're all pretty different, except for one that kind of stuck, which is kind of like with Lily and Jack, the white van, woman with long black hair, and I can't remember the other person. I'd have to look it up. But that was a psychic medium. But then there was a sighting at I think it was somewhere in Nova Scotia, and they were at a motel, white van, woman with long black hair. Can't remember what the guy looked like, and they had Dylan. So, I heard that one from a few psychic mediums, and it's kind of similar to the Lily and Jack situation with the white van. And I do understand that it's very weird that the same month that these two beautiful kids go missing, that my son went missing too in May, and it's Missing Children's Month, so it's very weird that it happens in May, and it's heartbreaking, really. For Kay,
His
you're
phone
true
making noise, by
crime
the way.
fanatic.
Not mine.
So basically, there's similarities. The white van is a similarity. I don't know if people got that on social media about the van at their school, kind of watching kids.
Wow.
I'm not going to really get into it because I shouldn't even be talking about it because I think it's being investigated. So,
wow, that's very
it's not good
interesting.
to talk about. If you have actual evidence of something, you shouldn't share it on social media until you get it 100% checked out. Because, let's say someone did take these kids and they're watching social media, and you guys share evidence or a tip or a sighting, don't you think they're watching? So just thought I'd bring that up. But there's similarities. There's the same month, white van. They're all very young. The alert was shitty. Dylan's case is so, I don't even want to say different, but it's really different. Like, the cops have a big part in a whole lot of different things. Like,
I'm thinking the same thing. And crazy that somebody from the school sent Jason that picture. Wild.
I had a professional call today, and we were talking about a cover-up that basically the chief is doing with my son's investigation. And it's revolving around that hit in the water with the human remains dog. And I did a Freedom of Information Act on that specific day, and the chief says it doesn't exist. And this professional got a hold of Doug Tieft, Nova Scotia Canine Search and Rescue. And from last week's conversation to this week's conversation, it's different, and he has concerns on Doug now. Like, there's some weird stuff going on in my son's investigation. Like, I was on that search. I took the video. I have the timestamps. I have the evidence. They even, at the review board hearing, they even lied about it there, said it was a whole different dog handler, different everything. And then I get a second opinion lawyer telling me there's error of law at my son's hearing. So, not only, like, cops are so corrupt, it's crazy. Like, I don't even trust cops. I have Please Bring Me Home is an organization. It's like, how do you explain them? It's like, instead of going through third party, you go to them. Like, they can do everything for you. They have their own labs. They have their own investigators. They have their own resources, and they can go through the police for you and put a bigger push on things and get that information and bring it back to you. So it's, if the family of Jack and Lily are watching, I would really reach out to Please Bring Me Home. His name's Nick, and amazing people. I've sent them. Germany needed my DNA. The first time they sent my DNA, they took my DNA without the Truro police. The second time, Germany requested DNA from the Truro police, so the Truro police had to take my DNA. And they wanted Dylan's DNA, but the Truro police didn't gather DNA of Dylan's from hair samples or toothbrush or anything. When he went missing, they dropped the ball pretty bad. But there's similarities for sure with the case. Me and Dylan's mom, we don't talk.
Interesting. He said the German police, like, they must have thought at one point, wanted his DNA, that they maybe had Dylan in Germany. I don't know. That's standard protocol or what?
I haven't talked to her in over a year. So that's my own battle in my own head. And I have my own reasons that I'm really not going to share on social media. Okay, actually, so when Dylan went missing, I got in my head that if you don't search for Dylan, boots on the ground, it was get the fuck out of my life. It was get out of my life. I don't want nothing to do with you. So I pushed my family away. I pushed my friends away. I pushed over time. I pushed Ashley away. I pushed everybody away. It was getting to be too overwhelming for Ashley to search the bay, and that would put, a strain in the relationship. It really doesn't matter what we did. Our relationship was going to fall apart. It's a 98% chance that when parents of a missing child, when that child goes missing, the relationship's broken. It's not going to, eventually you're going to break.
I might have misunderstood him last night then. I thought they just didn't get back together again afterwards, but sounds like I misunderstood that.
Actually, the whole family is going to break. I imagine Lily and Jack's family, they're all broken right now. Like, they're probably mad at each other, confused. This person did that person did this. It's the ambiguous loss, and it sets in and it confuses the hell out of you. Some people go dormant. Like, some people might hide away from social media. Some people might fight like hell. You can't judge them for it. They're going through something that you never want to go through. Ambiguous loss is so complex that it's put it this way, over time, it doesn't get easier for the families with ambiguous loss, missing persons. It actually gets more complex. And that was from a 20-year renowned doctor that studied in missing persons families. And basically, ambiguous loss, missing persons, it was lost. People never actually took the time to learn how to help us with frozen grief or any of that. So that's why counselors don't really know how to help us. Cops don't know how to treat you. It's it's crucial for parents of a missing child or loved one to constantly have updates, constantly be involved in the search and the investigation. And when they're not involved or they don't get updates, it actually drives us crazy. And it's not that we're being mean or ignorant. It literally drives us crazy. So it's part of ambiguous loss. Do I think the police? Do I think the police have a person in interest? Why would you think that? If they had a person in interest, we would never know. I wouldn't even know about it. Like if we'll use my son as an example. If they had a person in interest, we wouldn't know anything about it. They
Jack
would
and
act
Lily.
completely normal.
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume they probably don't have anyone of interest yet. That's my guess, but you never know.
But this is his live of Jack and Lily 6 months ago. So shortly after they went missing, right? This is his interpretation. So this is fairly early to the time that they first disappeared.
Like I just said, none of you would know.
Oh, Donna, thank you.
100% proof.
Thank you, Donna. Again, you're too kind. Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Whoever gets awarded that's YouTube that decides. So thank Donna for it. Thank you.
And they have charges laid, and then you will know. We're the public. We don't get to know.
Membership's only $2.99 a month. There's like, I don't know, over 100 videos in there, and I'll do members first videos. And when we get more people, I will do members lives.
Stuff like that. It could jeopardize the case. The river, so it's funny. Dylan didn't fall into a river. Dylan possibly fell into a brook. That's a big difference. Leopard's Brook, whatever you call it. It's probably, I don't know, 200 meters.
I mean, I understand what he's saying, but the water from what we see in the pictures looks pretty high. Can Jack and Lily's family? I have no idea about Chris McDonough. I don't know how he operates, but yes, they could go to the Find Me group. That's where I volunteer if they wanted to. I told Jason last night as well that he could. Blue Desk for Assistance, even in Canada. Well, yes, so our group also has helicopters, planes, canine. And if you missed the live with Kelly Snyder from the Find Me group that we did with Sebastian about a year or so ago, he was telling everybody, like, we do have divers, we have calligraphy experts, this is what I was trying to get to Jason. I wanted to explain to him this morning because he submitted and showed me the form he submitted to volunteer. I don't know what capacity, because we have calligraphy experts, we have social workers, we have dogs, divers, copters, planes, you name it. And Kelly was quite proud that our dogs are actually going out Saturday and Sunday. The police asked for us to locate 2 boys that were murdered, that they're going looking at the canines to pin that for the weekend for them. And so as far as going out to bring the dogs, I can't answer that if he would come all the way up to Canada, but we do cases around the world. So yes, absolutely. But what you're going to get is And what you're going to have is a police detective's contact information, or be a parent, but also still have a police contact information. And then the report goes back to you. And the reason that is that if the report comes back with some intel that's valuable, then the founder, I assume, wants to know that you have contacts with the police that you can forward the information to. So not just anybody, it has to be a family member and or the police to submit the forms and have the contact of the detective. Thank you, Donna. The contact number for the detective on the case. And Dylan's case with Jason, at least, the police are not updating him, which is not legal, I don't think.
And behind the grandmother's house.
Yeah, Belinda can do it.
I remember being in shock, and
Belinda can absolutely do it.
I even searched people's houses when I found out, which
he
if
could.
you guys want to know my story, I'll tell you the first day of what
he
happened. But I'm wondering if there's a size difference between the boots. So the boots that the cops found in the brook are size 12, kids size 12, I think. Like, I could be wrong, so don't judge me for it. Oh my God. I'm pretty sure it's size 12. It was a few sizes too big for Dylan, which I don't even remember seeing the boots, to be honest. The grandmother bought them 2 weeks prior to his disappearance. The boots seen, or the boots in the picture or the video that Ashley noticed, or somebody noticed and then brought to Ashley's attention, I have no idea. I'm just the father. I went to work. I went home. I wasn't paying attention to boots. So his birthday.
Belinda could ask if she wants. However, I don't anticipate Belinda will ask, because from what I understand, her attorney has already hired her own private investigator. And the private investigator that she's hired is, I think Chrissy was her name, who was with Please Bring Me Home, but she quit and went to work as a private investigator for Belinda at this point in time. So I don't see Belinda asking. I mean, she could. She's, certainly welcome to. We never turn anybody away, and it's all free. So absolutely, she could.
Is April 16th. He was born Easter morning. He went missing 2 weeks after his birthday. The grandmother bought the boots. So I don't even remember what they look like. That's why I didn't identify them. I have no idea. The last thing I was looking at were his boots. So his mom usually put his shoes on when we were leaving. When it was playing outside in the yard, we had a fenced-in area, so our house was like kid-proof. So Dylan could have the run of the whole house and go play outside, and there was nothing to worry about. Like, it was completely, kid-proof. So it's not like I was throwing boots on. And COVID-19, it was still chilly out. We weren't going anywhere. So I don't even know. Me and Ashley got in a no contact order due to COVID-19. We were together for 13 years. It was our first big fight. She punched me in the face a few times. I threatened her, empty threats. I was staying at my mom's when my son went missing. So I wasn't there the day my son went missing. I actually found out my son was missing 3 hours after he was already missing. I actually drove into it. Me, my mom, and my sister were all in the car. I drove down to the grandmother's to see if Dylan was there. And then if Dylan wasn't, I was going to go to his mother's. And when I arrived at the grandmother's, there was a cop already in the driveway. I get out of the car, and I remember I was like, if Ashley's here, I don't want to breach,
Can you imagine? He drives over himself. Dylan's been missing almost 3 hours. There's only one cop outside of his stepmother's house where Dylan was being watched and disappeared from. And it's 3 hours after your son has gone missing. Nobody has called you, and the search team's not there, and only one police officer is standing in front of the home. I'd lose my SHIT. I'd lose it. What the hell kind of Mickey Mouse show is that? That's all I have to say. That is just unbelievable.
And then the cop told me, are you Jason Ehler? I said, yes. Are you Dylan's dad? I said, yes. And then she's like, your son's missing. And I dropped, like, I fell to my knees. Somebody caught me. I remember that. I think it was Ashley's father's wife, girlfriend. Like, it was like I went limp for a minute, and then shock set in.
Yeah.
So, I'm not tearing up because I have told this story 500,000 times. So let's get this through before a million people watch this. I've told this story. I've heard about a million ways my son could die. I've heard a million ways and different, like, I've heard it all, and you become numb to the situation. So I'm very numb to this situation. So please don't judge me because I'm not crying. If you guys can understand, you talk about I've talked about this for every day for the last 5 years. I can't cry for 5 years. It's impossible. So I'm just putting that out there. I have my moments. If you were to ask me how Dylan was as a child, I'm going to cry. There's certain things I talk about and I will cry. Let's see here. What else we got here? I need a drink. The stuff's stressful too, so. Like, every time I talk about Dylan, I get right dry and fucking horrible feeling. I'm wondering if his eyes.
Yeah, that's what I said. He's not gotten back to me today, and I know he's pretty quick on the draw, so I really hope he's not upset after our call last night.
With the whole boots thing, I don't know what size the other boots were. I don't know. All I know is there's a picture of a pair of boots behind Dylan, and they're different. And the police. I'll get to them later.
Thanks, Donna.
Crime Beat, I've already talked to them. I should get hold of Crime Beat. There is not too many places you're going to think of where I haven't already talked to. I can guarantee it. Crime Beat, I'm trying to think of that one. I'm trying to think if that's where Nancy Grace seen my story and then did a show or whatever on Dylan and whatever. So I really hope I get answers soon too. Oh, so you're obviously, what's the difference between a river and a brook? There's a huge difference. So the rivers are like much, much bigger, much wider, much deeper. Rapids are much faster than a brook. Brooks are usually significantly small, skinny, not a whole lot of water. There's a big difference between a brook and a river. If anyone's not familiar with the Salmon River is tidal influenced, which means there's a wave that starts at the beginning of Salmon River and it pushes the wave all the way up to Truro, Nova Scotia. And it happens twice a day, I do believe. And they actually call it one of the 8 wonders of the world. It doesn't happen anywhere else in the world but in Truro, or the Salmon River is the only place it happens. So Search and Rescue said that with the debris in the brook and the way the brook was that day, they don't see how it was possible Dylan went down the brook, and that water works in mysterious ways. Like, it would blow your mind what that brook looked like when he went missing. The water was higher, but even if it was higher, people don't realize that the brook, just before it merges into the river.
No, so Dylan was in the brook, a brook in town in Truro. Let me pull it up on a map. I can show you because we pulled it up yesterday. Elizabeth Street in Truro. Let me show you. There's Jason just got back to me now. So so his grandmother, he was at his grandmother's house on Elizabeth Street. And this is the Leper Brook. Okay, so he's at his grandmother's on Elizabeth Street. They think he ran behind her house. At least that's what the police search and rescue think, that he ran behind the house, behind the neighbor's house, rather, because I think grandma lives right on the corner. And in 18 seconds went from the corner, because she was right on the corner, and they were questioning why they never canvassed. This is what was on W5 on Queen Street here. Can you guys all see that? They never, let me just small size it so you can see. Well, I'm glad that he just got back to me, Jason. They never checked Queen Street. So this is the brook the boots were found in. And that leads into the Salmon River. So that's the brook he's talking about. And they were saying, like, the boots didn't even make it into the river. Nothing could make it into the river. The river is where it leads into the Salmon River. When you go out, is what leads to the Bay of Fundy over here. Okay. See the Salmon River there? That's the Kobikid Trail that we hear about with Jack and Lily. And that in here is Kobikid Bay. Kobikid Bay, and then you get into the Bay of Fundy. So it's a far distance. There's the Bay of Fundy. There's Elizabeth Street on the map. Because you've got the Bay of Fundy is part of the ocean, but then you've got these Kobikid Bay here, and then you've got the river, if that makes sense. So the dummy, from what I understand, didn't even make it. So he wasn't found in the bay. And the dummy didn't even make it, from my understanding, into even the Salmon River, which feeds into the Kobikid Bay, you know what I mean? Just the names change. It gets bigger and bigger. So that's why they were upset that they didn't continue searching. It's the Bay of Fundy. Yeah, Fundy. Fundy. I'm Canadian, so I guess it's Fundy. But yeah. Thank you, everybody. Yes, so let's keep watching this. Let me just text him just to see if I can get a confirmation from you that he'll come on tomorrow.
There's a backflow, so when the water's really high, it's like the river causes a backflow into the brook. You know, it's like everything would be pushed back into the brook. You know, so I don't know, I used to be 50-50. Dylan went into a brook, into the river, got swept into the bay and into the Atlantic Ocean within 30 minutes. That's what professionals said. Now, with the police corruption in my son's case and the lies in my son's case with police, the inconsistencies with the boots in my son's case with police, I have no idea. I really think he was taken. All this time investigating, it looks more and more like someone took him. Because like Jack and Lily, there were no footprints. There was nothing. It's like he vanished. It's like, oh, there is a new update on Dylan. Well, I wouldn't say an update, but new information that I found out. And I don't mind sharing this. So when I was down May 6th, doing my event for Dylan for the day he went missing, this older lady drove three hours to go to this event just to finally talk to me and tell
Sorry, everybody. Okay.
Tell me what she knew, which is why this is believable, because someone wouldn't drive 3 hours just to make up a bunch of bullshit. So basically, this lady's son was fishing in the Salmon River the day my son disappeared by the Green Bridge just before the train bridge. And while he was fishing, he heard a splash. After he heard the splash, he looked up the river and he seen boots floating down the river. He threw the boots out of the water, threw them up to the shore, didn't think nothing of it. But he also mentioned that the
I gotta
splash wasn't
rewind
like a
this.
splash.
I gotta rewind
like-
this to hear it.
He vanished. Is like, oh, there is a new update on Dylan. Well, I wouldn't say an update, but new information that I found out, and I don't mind sharing this. So, when I was down May 6th, doing my event for Dylan for the day he went missing, this older lady drove three hours to go to this event just to finally talk to me and tell me what she knew, which is why this is believable, because someone wouldn't drive 3 hours just to make up a bunch of bullshit. So basically, this lady's son was fishing in the Salmon River the day my son disappeared by the Green Bridge just before the train bridge. And while he was fishing, he heard a splash. After he heard the splash, he looked up the river and he seen boots floating down the river. He threw the boots out of the water, threw them up to the shore, didn't think nothing of it. But he also mentioned that the splash wasn't like a splash of like a child falling in the water. It was a splash of somebody throwing the boots off the train tracks. So that's pretty new information that I've really been thinking about. Like, I'm trying to get a hold of this certain somebody so I can find out if he remembers what color those boots were. My investigator has it, not with the Truro Police. Me and the Truro Police don't get along. I have a no contact order with the whole Truro Police Station.
So he's gonna come on tomorrow night. I was, like I said, I was supposed to babysit my grandson today, who's home from daycare because he's got croup, but my appointment ran too long this morning, so I'm gonna be there tomorrow. So we're gonna be live tomorrow night watching him because he's not well enough to go to daycare. So it would be live tomorrow night, and Jason just said he will join us tomorrow night. So I'm going to say 6:30 p.m. Eastern if you want to come on and listen to Jason talk about Dylan. He is private investigator. He said Donna was following this up. I don't know why, Truro. I'm not sure, but let's just listen to this again, because that is very interesting about this splash and the train. You know, the train tracks with Jack and Lily too is very interesting.
My son disappeared by the Green Bridge just before the train bridge. And while he was fishing, he heard a splash. After he heard the splash, he looked up the river and he seen boots floating down the river. He threw the boots out of the water, threw them up to the shore, didn't think nothing of it. But he also mentioned that the splash wasn't like a splash of like a child falling in the water. It was a splash of somebody throwing the boots off the train tracks.
Okay, let me just text him right now. Okay. Okay. Everyone in my live says they're excited to hear your story about Dylan. I'm going to be live tomorrow night at 6:30 Eastern. I'll send you the link for StreamYard once I'm done this. Have a good night. Safe driving. Okay, everybody.
So that's pretty new information that I've really been thinking about. Like, I'm trying to get a hold of this certain somebody so I can find out if he remembers what color those.
I mean, I'd absolutely help him. I don't know what I can do for him. I told him I can't guarantee him I'm going to get a vision of Dylan or that I'm going to get a dream. I actually went to bed last night praying for my guides to come in and give me a download, and I didn't get one. But I would certainly notify him if I did get something immediately.
Boots were. My investigator has it, not with the Truro Police. Me and the Truro Police don't get along. I have a no contact order with the whole Truro Police Station. And that's a long, long story on why. Because they don't like when I share actual facts on negligence on their behalf. And go on my Facebook. I share emails, documents, everything that proves everything I say. I don't make this stuff up for something to do. Like, they failed my child and they continue to fail. And I continue to put them down because I have no use for the Truro Police. Anyway, the whole boot story, that's true. I was just told that. It made me really think, were they really thrown off the bridge? Did someone really throw them in? Like, what time exactly was that at? Like, I got so many thoughts. The weather was so bad that the day Dylan went missing, the weather wasn't that bad. It was sunny all day. I mean, it was chillier, but it was still a sunny day. My brother made a good comment that I remember back on day one. The ground was wet. Everything was wet. If Dylan actually left the grandmother's yard, and everybody showed, and the cops showed up within 5 minutes, and if everybody's telling the truth, then where was his wet footprints on the pavement? I always wondered that too. There was just nothing. So it wasn't even a footprint, but it's mucky and muddy and just not one footprint. Like, come on.
Sounds like if he was taken, just thoughts. Tell me if you think this, if he was taken and somebody threw the boots from a train, that was a deliberate, kind of like the Lily and Jack, the blanket diversion thought, it seems like a deliberate possible diversion.
Truro is human trafficking cap of basically Canada. So Nova Scotia's human trafficking, they got the highest numbers in Canada right now. It started in 2020, the year my son went missing. And there's even weird conspiracies about the Truro Police being involved in some of this stuff, which goes really crazy. I mean, my son went missing 2 weeks after the mass shooting. The mass shooting in our community was Canada's biggest mass shooting in Canada history, and it was also the RCMP's biggest fuck up in history. The Truro Police were actually sending threatening emails to the RCMP in Bobble Hill around the same time my son went missing. And the Truro Police and the RCMP in Bobble Hill actually had to work together to find my son. So I don't think they were very friendly to one another when they had to work together. So I really think that had a lot to do with everything. Even if you look on the news with the Chief McNeil,
horrible.
He's very vague on that day of the mass shooting. His testimony was horrible. Bogus, really. It's like he was part of the mass shooting. It's almost like, just do your research online about it, and you'll figure it out. It's quite disturbing. The whole thing's disturbing, and now these kids go missing, and just really, when those kids went missing, I shared a video complaining about the alert system. Something like, the kids were out there all night long, while you guys were, sitting there, it didn't occur to you guys to send out the fucking alert, cold out, nighttime, times, passing, and then I mentioned, how 3 hours was a big issue when Dylan went missing. Very concerning. And after 5 years, nothing has changed. So it's like they haven't learned from their mistakes after Dylan went missing. And it really pissed me off. So anyway, when I was talking about Lily and Jack, that video got like over 200,000 views on TikTok. So I'm really happy that I was able to spread the awareness on Lily and Jack that day. Like it flew. Something doesn't make sense with both cases. Something's off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not with the parents. Like, if you're going to investigate, I mean, kind of put the parents off in the corner and not make fun of them and just look into stuff, because calling them drug addicts and calling them out is not doing anything. Like, you guys need to just focus on the kids, and look down different avenues. And my experience with a group and investigating people is not going to work. I can tell you that. Been there, done it, didn't work. If you have like a small group of people, like 3 or 4 people on a group chat, you might be able to get somewhere. But there's so many people on social media that are just there to make stuff up and cause trouble. So that's my opinion on that. Please. With the police and human trafficking, obviously we know the police, like even in Ontario when they were busted for human trafficking, cops are the biggest gangs like in the world now. Like, cops are gang members. It's a little gang, no different. Example, the mass shooting, when they started wearing the blue line badge again. Like, that's against the law for cops to wear the blue line badge. Look it up. It's a gang symbol now. and they were all using it during the mass shooting. So Nova Scotia is pretty corrupt little place for policing. You can even look that up. So a lot of issues with them.
Welcome in. It's nice to see you, Lindsay. Jason and I spoke last night, Dylan's dad, the gentleman you're watching on the screen, and he's going to come on live. So we're going to be live tomorrow with Jason talking about Dylan's disappearance at 6 p.m., 6:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night, Lindsay. Okay, and welcome into the group. Thank you for being here.
Nova Scotia policing, that's a road you don't even want to go down. That's a dark, dark tunnel of horrible stuff. Believe me, I know. I went down that dark tunnel. Yeah, I'm not related to Jack and Lily. I have the youngest child to go missing in Nova Scotia history, Dylan. Dylan went missing just after his 3rd birthday, which makes him the youngest child to go missing in Nova Scotia. And I'm shocked that people don't remember, because it flew like the chief said, it took a mind of its own, you know. Like Dylan's case was huge. Like everybody and their dog was. You think the Jack and Lily groups were big. Holy smokes, man. We had Canada's biggest cyberbullying. Like, it was crazy. Like, we made national news. We're the 2nd people in Canada to use the cyberbullying legislation. Lawyer pro bono'd us, trying to shut down groups and everything. It was crazy. The Netflix movie, so Muse Entertainment, we've been working on the movie for, I'm going to say 2 years now. 2 of the best movie producers in Canada. They were down May 6th and filmed me everywhere last week. Was it last week? I think so. Like, it should be out. So they want to finish filming at the end of fall. And then probably by next summer, it should be out. That's the best I can give you guys. I don't even know when it's going to be out exactly. I'm at a, need to know basis too.
Yeah, so he's doing a movie deal. Just tell his side of the story about the police investigation.
I can tell you, you guys are going to learn a lot about the police that you wish you never had have learned about, and what they did to a 3-year-old child. Because you guys have no idea the corruption with these cops. And you guys can think I'm crazy, but it's eventually coming out. It's not even a joke. Like, it's disgusting what these people did. It's like they played the jurisdiction game on us. I have a letter from the mayor, an email, and it just pretty well says it all. Like, basically, he was told to shut up and not look at my flash drive.
He sent me a picture of that. Yep, of that email from the mayor.
No more, and he should have known better as head of chairman. He
Thank
should have
you,
known better
Lindsay.
not to talk to me. And I'm thinking, like, what? You should have known better. You're the mayor. Like, what? Like, oh, you guys wouldn't believe the shit show. Oh, type movie. It's a documentary movie, so no actors. I am the actor. Me. Ashley's mom doesn't want to be part of it, so she hasn't been part of it lately. And I kind of felt that, but I wasn't sure because I don't talk to her. So, kind of hurts. I'm actually in this nightmare alone. It sucks.
It's really
I've
sad.
been searching alone, fighting alone. Last year, I went on so many searches, and it was a lot of the time it's by myself or with women. I'm going to say, for all you girls out there, kudos to you guys, because if it wasn't for you guys, people like me would be royally fucked, because men don't search for the missing. I've been fighting for 5 years, and I've hardly had any guy join any of my searches. And like there's the few that were dedicated. But other than that, it's been girls, man. Like, you guys are amazing. Each and every one of you, keep doing what you're doing, because you're stronger than the men. And I swear to God, like, it's like men are terrified of the situation, and I can see how it would be terrifying. But you girls, man, you guys are like, it's like a mother's instinct. You guys are just right there, ready to search.
Mm-hmm.
Like a few years ago, it was usually just me searching, and I'd have search events, and it would only be females showing up every time, like clockwork. And I'd be like, oh, guys. Or I'd be like to my buddies that didn't even show up, that were guys. They didn't even show up. I'm like, I bet every one of them's going to be girls. And sure enough, it's always girls showing up to the searches. You guys are strong. I give you that. I noticed I got 4,000
I know.
followers in the past like 4 days, and I'm pretty sure most of them are female. Pretty well.
I agree, Donna.
A few, I think maybe 3 or 4 guys reached out to me in the last week. The rest of them females. So like I said, kudos to you guys. Like,
Well, the whole true crime industry is 95% females from 45 to 75. That's just the reality. Men don't find it interesting. And I think he's right when it comes to mama bears and missing kids. I mean, I haven't talked to him about it yet. And he doesn't even know I have a girlfriend that lives in Truro. He no longer lives there, by the way. I'm not going to tell you where he lives. Because he had to leave the area. He just found it too traumatic. I would, we couldn't search. I was ready to go, if you don't recall. And then they blocked this whole forest ban thing. And then I got the job. And then it was hunting season. But I definitely plan on going. And I'd like to go and interview Dorothy if she would let me. And we'll see. I mean, my girlfriend said I'm welcome to go anytime. She lives in Truro. See if I can talk to Malaya's family and maybe do a trip of it, But anyway, I definitely would happily go looking. I'm not so confident going and looking for Jack and Lily in the forest with the people there, just saying. But for Dylan, that would be different, I think.
without you guys, we'd be screwed. The movie team said that my fight drive is one of a kind. They've never seen it before, so don't expect everyone to fight as hard as me because you probably won't see it. And I've literally fought for Dylan every day for 5 years straight. I neglected my own life.
I know,
didn't care. I just
Dragonfly.
searching, upset.
Well, this is my point. Like, I went off camera earlier because I was in my room because my landlord was here fixing the toilet. But this is my point. Like, it absolutely infuriates me. Like, if the police got this information from Jason about Jack and Lily with the white van, you've got the neighbors talking about hearing a car, and yet they didn't even polygraph anybody, according to Jason in Dylan's case, except Jason himself, who insisted that they polygraph him. Like, I don't know what's going on with the policing out in the East Coast, but it just seems to be seriously lacking. Because, yeah, how can all these kids, how can it be the trafficking of, we went through it on this channel. I got shut down. I got copyright stricken. And by the way, Krista, if you're here, Krista's like, well, just send YouTube an email. Sweetie, if you only knew how YouTube works. There's no email for YouTube that I have access to. Okay. Everything is on your dashboard. You get copyright strike notice. Click here. See if you have options. I don't get options. No options. No contesting it. I tried to contest once through a button. You get the response back in your desktop. It's not like an email correspondence. There's no human that half of it's bot driven. So it's not so easy to complain to YouTube, okay? So they literally demonetized and struck that live stream when we were talking about trafficking in Canada. Okay. So yeah, if we think this government wants to keep this under wraps, you're damn right they do. But there's nothing to see here. All these kids just walked out the back door. All of them. They just walked out. Just accept the fact that they're gone. We didn't find them. They just walked out the door. But yeah, you've got 6 times the national average of trafficking cases out of that part of the world. And as somebody here so wisely commented in the chat, yeah, because of support. I mean, I'm researching from my book, Trafficking Hubs. I talked to my daughter about it. I'm astounded at how bad it is in this country. Nobody's effing talking about it. Nobody is talking about it. And then when you want to talk about it, YouTube strikes your stream down. What the TF? What the TF? Yeah. So it's definitely a problem when we can't talk about it without, like, I'm just reading stats. You guys were here for that. I'm just reading stats off Stats Canada's own friggin' website. It's just, listen, we're lucky we have the right to even be on YouTube right now with this government. It's not going to be long before they're going to take that away from us too. Trust me. It's so pathetically scary in this country now. It's so pathetically scary. I know, honey. It's just, yeah, it's just down to, let's not get into politics, but this country's on the way down the tubes, down the shitter, if you would say. It's down the shitter. I remember reading a poem talking about when you have a child, you will have all the children of the world. That's why I feel moms connect immediately. Absolutely. Yeah, it is. It is weird, Michelle. It's absolute baloney. And like no warning. You don't get any warning. The other copyright strike I got, okay, 3 strikes and you're out. You lose your channel and you get no warning. You guys were here. All of a sudden I'm in the stream, everyone's going, you're gone. I was like, I'm still showing mine live. I got nothing from YouTube and they just cut the stream off. So I just waited and everybody came back in like 3-4 minutes later because we were talking and I was reading Canadian statistic reports and showing videos already on YouTube about that topic. The other one that I got a copyright strike was talking about how the CIA trains psychics. Oh, can't talk about that. Can't talk about how the CIA trains psychics. Whoa. I mean, that's enough to shut you down. Like, we can't even talk about UFOs yet, like in this country, in this Canada, in North America. Like, I mean, it's wild. It's absolutely wild. The truth, we are not meant to learn the truth of any. Oh, yeah, it's just, anyway, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started on it.
Stressing over finding him, looking into people. I got my license to fly a drone. I got into Wings of Mercy. I used Lock 8 Search and Rescue to locate the missing, which is technology the military uses now. That Michael, I can't think of his last name. He invented the technology. I've done so many crazy things that it's crazy. I've had ransoms. I've had 8 ransoms in total. 2 of them were in phone call where they called me up and said, we have your son and we're going to kill your son if you don't give us so much money.
Can you imagine? They've lived through 8 ransoms. Somebody called them and said, we have your son in the truck. And if you don't give us money, we're going to throw him on the highway and we're doing 100 kilometers an hour or something crazy. 8 people attempted to suggest that they had Dylan and hold him ransom for money. It's unbelievable.
Like, I've had cops pretend they were me to Wayfair conspiracy. There was a toy box with Dylan's name. They wanted $9,999 for a toy box on Walmart and Amazon Prime, or Amazon, sorry. Like, Dylan was even thrown into the Wayfair conspiracy where cops even called Walmart and was like, looks like you have human trafficking on your website. Like, I've literally seen and been through it all. Like, that's just a little bit. I could spend 2 years telling you about trauma, and people say, why aren't you working? Why aren't you working? Every day is trauma. Like, you wouldn't believe it. Like I told my counselor, she asked my story. I told her and she was speechless. Didn't have the tools to give me. Had no idea what to do for me with the amount of trauma I've been through. Like, I'm surprised I'm not in a mental institution. You know, and then people don't think.
I get it. I couldn't work. You all witnessed my trauma. I'm barely over it, but how many times did I just lose it here, crying when Sebastian came in, lose my shit? I mean, I lost my shit on the RCMP just 2 weeks ago on here on Alive because I know what it's like to be ignored when you're looking for justice. I mean, my dad almost died, but he didn't die. But I don't have a missing 3-year-old. And I was traumatized. I can't even effing imagine. I can't even fucking imagine. Honest to God. Yeah, I can swear. Apparently, I can swear, but you guys can't type in swear words in the chat because the bot will knock us out. We feel it, but we can't jeopardize. Yeah, I know. So I'm going to stop swearing now too. Got to be the better example. It boils my blood for him. I can't in my life. I'm mad for him. I couldn't even sleep last night after talking to him. We talked last night. Let me see what time we talked. He called me like immediately after I said, call me, here's my number. So we can talk first, you know, before you come on the live. And he called me, let me just check. Yesterday at 4:47, so 10 to 5, we talked for 51 minutes. And then we texted till 10:30, 11 o'clock p.m. I couldn't sleep. I was so upset for him and going through everything that he sent me, and I can't even effing imagine being in his shoes. I seriously can't imagine. And so I know I don't need to tell y'all. We're going to be very kind to him and extremely patient when he gets on here. And it's going to be a no bullshit policy. Like, there's one strike, you're out. There's no warnings. There's going to be no calling him any names. There's nothing. And I know nobody here would do that, because I know. But if we get anybody in, Donna and Krista and Kitty, any of the mods and Veronica, Hope, I don't know if you're still here either, tomorrow, that are not our regulars, they're out. They're freaking out. Yes, they're done. There's no second chances. They're done. And I promised them that and you guys know me, I don't tolerate this shit. You know me. So even for myself, yeah, exactly. Even, I don't tolerate it for myself. I'm definitely not tolerating it for him. Like, it's just not happening. It's extra protection.
Here's something you guys don't think of. When a child goes missing, we have to learn
I know.
1,000 things at once. So not only are we dealing with ambiguous loss, we don't know where our child is. Is he dead? Is he alive? The emotions, the shock. But we have to learn how to investigate. We have to learn how to spread awareness. We have to learn how the policing works. We have to learn how to make rewards. We have to learn how to put out posters and do podcasts and all these things that literally drive you crazy. We have to learn about, for Dylan, an example, if he went into the water, I had to learn on what a body looks like over time, how long that body takes to, I'm not getting into it. Like, I had to learn a million things that would probably make any normal person puke, so I'm probably not working because my brain might be a little broken and I haven't taken the time to fix anything because I'm too busy fighting. So I neglected my own life to bring my son home, and that's what I do. I don't care about my life half the time. I'm 110% Dylan. Even after 5 years, it's like day one, I'm still doing the same thing, fighting every day. So people can make fun of me and say I'm a drug addict or an alcoholic. I don't even drink. Like, it's ridiculous. I don't even smoke weed no more. Like, can't smoke weed. Frig, I'll have a panic attack.
I know. Hugs, Hope. I know, honey. Hope, I'm sending your prayers. I get
Kate
it.
Breton, kudos to that father. I followed him a little bit. I even offered to come out and help. He's at 300 and some days of everyday searching, and just my heart goes out to that family too. He's got a long road ahead of him, really long road. I did 4 years straight searching, and it's really hard on the brain. Mine was really rough terrain, like really, really, really rough terrain. It's the Bay of Fundy, so you've got some of the most dangerous areas, and I've had to search it. He's got a long road ahead of him, and I hope he gets the answers he's looking for, because after 4 years of searching every day in the woods, or
thanks, Donna,
psychic mediums, or like boots on the ground, it really takes a toll on you, and it takes a toll. So
I get it, Michelle. I know. I'm just letting them all know now. It's not common that all the mods are on the same chat at the same time. I know it does break my heart. Well, he's got a girl in his life now. I just don't know how serious it is. But yes, I can't speak for him. We'll ask him tomorrow what he's got for support.
The DNA data bank, MULCY, I can't think of it. Anyway, the National Data Bank. If you have a missing person, your blood is in there. If it's your child that went missing, your blood's in there within the first 3 months of an investigation. So Lily and Jack's parents will have to give blood eventually. The Truro police waited almost a year. That was not protocol, but eventually they took it and put it in there. Now, that is only good for Canada. So let's say when Germany needed my DNA, they do not take from the data bank. They need their own DNA, and they rather it from the child. So if it's overseas, you're going to have to re-give your blood.
Thank you, Wendy.
And they're done it.
Thank you, Wendy. I appreciate y'all. We've got another 30 minutes of his interview, and then we're going to wrap it up for today. But I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Not necessary, but thank you, Wendy. I'm just going to say this now too. If anybody tomorrow wants to donate, please send it to Jason. Okay, not to me. Okay. Thank you.
Actually had a job. You know, I did get a job finally. It was Atlantic Windows. It was last year. I worked there for a month, and then Germany needed my DNA because they found something in Germany. And it took 2 months to find out if my son was out there dead. And the pressure and the anxiety that comes from that, I quit. I said, fuck it. I can't deal with this and everything else. I can't deal with it. So I quit. I couldn't do it. And I'd like to see anyone else try to do it because it's friggin' crazy. You know, people are always judging, man. Like, walk in my footsteps. Children. So not a lot of, so there's not a lot of people.
I'll ask him if he's got an account. I know that they had a GoFundMe, which is what they use to put up the reward fund for him, for Dylan and whatnot. But we'll ask him tomorrow. We don't have a Venmo in Canada, so the only thing he would be able to do would be PayPal. When he says Germany, does he mean the country? Yeah, the country. Yeah, the country.
That don't support me. I'm pretty well liked and followed around the world. I'm known for birthday wishes around the world that I woke up and randomly made for my son that made Moncton Times and transcripts. Like, even the reporters did a piece on it. Like, I got birthday wishes on like, everybody did a video wishing him a happy birthday and a safe return home. And I got videos from every province in the damn world. Like the UK, Australia, like the UK, like it was England and you know, Switzerland and, you know, all these places. Like, I swear, every place in the world I must have got a video from. Like, even like the states, Kansas, and like places I've never even heard of. And I made the news for it. Like, I love my son. I'll do anything. I always think about him. Always doing something.
Mm-hmm.
I should probably read some of the questions because I just get lost telling stories.
The police have put out, the OPP put out a, I think it was on the post I put, the age progression, Donna. Yes, they did. I posted that. I thought it was on the post. Let me pull it up for you. But yeah. Hold on, I got to remove the back. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, yeah, that's what they've, I don't know. That's a couple years old though, so I don't know if they've done one recently. All right, might be a year old. I'll have to ask. That was April 2025. It's right down April 2025. So yeah.
You only see the dad searching because the dad is the only one searching. It's been like that for years. It's just been me and my big army of me and some wonderful ladies that join every now and again. It's not like back at the beginning or the first few years.
Yep.
You know, I was that, I hate saying it this way, but I was like that popular guy looking for his child. So it was like, so like the cops say, being in this situation is like being a celebrity in the worst kind of way possible. And with that comes a lot of weirdos and a lot of people that try to use you, a lot of people that try to date you for sick fame or get to know you for sick fame, or just it goes on and on and on and on and on about weird, sick stuff, man. Just thought I'd bring that out there too. Like, it's a weird situation. Like, I've literally seen it all now.
It's wild to hear. Wild to hear.
I have 5 kids. Emotional. You know, everybody says they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. I have kids. If I ever lost any of them, you go crazy. You go to jail. You do this. You do that. No, you wouldn't. You would fight as hard as you can for your child.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you would do. You wouldn't kill yourself. You wouldn't do any of these things. You would actually fight like hell. For how long you fight, everybody's different. You could fight for a year and break and go ghost forever. You could fight for a few months and be done. You could fight for the rest of your life. It's really depends on the strength God gave you. That's basically it. And I don't believe in God, so that's just a figure of speech. I probably stayed at a friend's in Amherst. I've stayed at so many people's places. Like, it wasn't just to stay there. It was either I was going to do a search there and they'd offer me a place to stay, or God only knows. I've so much that I've been through. I don't even know. I don't even know who I stayed in Amherst, and if it's the ones I think of, that kind of went to shit. I don't even know half the time what happens. Like, people are crazy. But there's a lot of good people out there. So Amherst is a wonderful place. Nah, I'm just joking. I don't like Amherst. I like the people in Amherst, but Dwayne Pike, chief of Amherst PD, is an effing idiot. He's on W5 News, the bizarre disappearance of a Nova Scotia toddler, my son, with his bogus little write-up. Amherst is all right.
Yeah, he was born Easter 2018, I think he said. So he had just turned 3, literally a couple weeks before he went missing on May 6th. I think he said April 17th, 2018 was his birthday. And he had just gone missing after just turning 3 in April, and he went missing May 6th. So
I don't not like Amherst. I just hate the cops there also. I've checked hospitals, doctors. I've checked all kinds of stuff. It's really hard to go that direction. Dentists and all that stuff. It's a tough direction because most people are not going to reach back out and tell you anything. You know, you can go to stores and give them a poster of your missing child and they will deny it sometimes. Like, you should feel that one. Watch how mad I got. I told them right off.
No kidding. Remember we heard that about Sebastian with the pig roast when they wouldn't put the flyers and we were all mad? His eyes, Donna, I think he said it was his right eye. I have to verify. It's on one of my pictures he sent me. Let me see if I can pull it up because I don't want to spread misinformation. His left eye is hazel and the right eye has a line. It has 2 colors. The right eye vertically has a line with the left part of it being hazel and the right part of it being blue. So thank God he's got some of that, because that's like Madeleine McCain, where she has that eye feature. That's not common. Yeah.
It's hard being in this life.
So if you could
so
all
you
do
say
me
it's
a
rare
favor.
that 2 kids go missing together? No, it's not. It's not unnormal whatsoever. They're brother and sister. They live together, play together, eat together, sleep together. It only makes sense they went missing together, and there's been other cases where 2 children went missing.
Just let everybody know whether he's going to be on tomorrow so we can get a good support for him here, my opinion here, but God will soon make a believer out of him. I know. I know. Yeah, well, you know what? I think listen, I'm a spiritual girl, and I lost my faith in the last few years, and I haven't been through what he's been through. So, you know, I get it. You know, you get angry, like, how could there be a God in this world when this is going on? But I'm hoping you're right.
It's very not out of the ordinary.
Especially if we get a miracle, right?
People may think it's out of the ordinary because someone said so, but that doesn't mean that someone was right. What's rare is all of it. I mean, in a sense, Dylan was rare. Dylan was the youngest child to go missing in Nova Scotia history. How rare is that? He went missing 2 weeks after his 3rd birthday. How rare is that? Like, it's all rare. Every kid that goes missing is rare because it doesn't happen. But in the States, kids go missing by 2s all the time. It's not like, how do I explain it right? It's not rare, but it's not, I think you guys know what I mean. It's not like unknown. For Nova Scotia, of course, it's rare because kids don't go missing in Nova Scotia. It seems like Dylan was like the first child in history that went missing and was never found.
In history. So, okay, but how does that make sense? That doesn't make sense with the trafficking problem. That does not make sense. Sorry, that's a mistake. That I think he's It's just a mistake that he's mentioning that, because of the trafficking problems. I think what he's talking about is his child declared missing versus not kidnapped.
that's pretty damn rare. But in other parts of the world, it's not rare.
Yeah.
Foreign countries, they go missing every day, like clockwork. So it just depends on the area you're at. It's not rare on. I think you guys know what I mean. Yeah, Amherst is a little horrible. Oh my god. I try to lie and say it's not horrible, but it kind of is. I've never been a fan. Same with Truro. People are great. I hate the town. I hate the people that run it. Some of the people suck too. So I mean,
There's nothing left, Jason.
no, I cough, guys. So I must be doing drugs. Gotta have my little comments. Yes, there's many children that go missing across the country. So it's not like that one person said, it's not rare.
Yeah.
It might be rare for our small province, but it's not rare at all. Definitely. Yeah, I remember, I think I've seen that movie Missing Together. It's you know what's even more rare? A little boy that went missing just after his 3rd birthday. How many did you guys realize that Dylan is one of the youngest children to go missing in Canada history? If you look it up, like Dylan is was way too young to go missing the way he did. If you actually look it up, he's in the list of like very, very, very few names. And
Yeah, because how could he outrun in 18 seconds? Like, I just, it's just something not right about that. It's just, I'm not suggesting anything other than maybe the time that she was not looking was longer than 18 seconds.
he's probably one of the youngest. That's rare for Canada. The whole damn thing is crazy. That's all I got to say. And really, it's not about rarity anyway. It's about finding them. So what do we believe really happened? What do I believe really happened to Dylan? My private investigator of 36 years major crimes. I wonder if I can smoke on YouTube. I'm gonna try. So anyway, Dave Worrell, 36 years major crimes, Halifax, private investigator now, retired from the law enforcement. If you watch W5 News, he states right in there that he would be a little worried about the timeline and Dorothy's story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that last night.
And I've believed that ever since I laid eyes on Dorothy when I went to pick Dylan up. You know, the first thing out of her mouth was to my mom, get the hell off my property. I remember. And I remember telling everybody to shut the hell up because, like, we're not important no more. Dylan's missing, so shut up, everybody, right? Like, but anyway, my recollection of the grandmother is I remember her.
Hope her grandma's answer story is that she brought Dylan outside with her to go outside and went to put the dog on the tether on the leash where the plants were and turned around and he was gone, nowhere to be seen. And they timed how long it would take her to do what she did, and it was determined it took 18 seconds. And I'm saying, how does a 3-year-old in 18 seconds vanish to the point where you can't see him if you're looking for him? Like, how far could he have run in 18 seconds?
Playing a damn video game on a computer all night long. Like, I remember it, like, it drove me crazy. I didn't say anything, but it drove me crazy how you can play a damn video game on a computer all night long after you just lost your grandchild.
Yeah.
Like, Ashley cried herself to sleep. Like, she literally cried herself to sleep. Like, I watched it. She cried herself to sleep. It was crazy. Dorothy on the damn game the whole time. You know, it's disturbing, really. And I'm not even making this up. I remember Ashley cried herself to sleep. I snuck out, went searching, and then I was pretty well drugged back by police 20 minutes after I left because, one, you're in shock, and that's not a good place to be searching when you're in shock. Number two is the parents don't go searching because the cops search and rescue and everybody needs vital information. So when they need that information, they don't want to have to go look for you. So the best place for you to be for your child is to sit your ass on the couch and wait. That is what you do. And when people put down people that aren't searching on day one, well, unfortunately, we're not allowed to. And the best chance of that child's survival is based off our information. So we kind of got to be there to give it. So, you know, that's another way to look at it. So there you go on that one. The family of Jack and Lily, they should be, I wouldn't say right now, but pretty soon they should be starting, I'm going to say the beginning of next month. It's May, June. In June, you should start seeing search events and stuff like that for the public to help them go search. Now, in the middle of June, if I don't see anything, that's when I would probably be concerned. That's when I would start to have my thoughts that I wouldn't share on social media because they're no one's business but my own thoughts. But I know we started searching probably a month after his disappearance, maybe a month and a half, because of the shock and the just everything, the ambiguous loss.
And at that point, you're waiting for the police to figure something out, right? And then when you realize the police aren't going to do it, and you're over your own shock.
It's the best way I can describe it. Ambiguous loss. If you don't know ambiguous
Oh
loss,
my God.
you have no idea. Because I tell you, man, it is the most fucked up shit you'll ever go through for the rest of your life until that person's found. So I guess, what do I believe happened to Dylan? I'm not sure. I'm just as lost as everybody else. I don't believe the grandmother. That's what my gut says. I don't know if she did something really bad or it was just neglect. But then that goes on the police too, because the police didn't search for Dylan until the dog got there. And the dog didn't get there for almost 2.5 hours after he went missing. So nobody was searching for Dylan. Nobody was searching for Dylan for 2.5 hours. And that's a fact. And that is sad. Did you guys know within the first 2 hours of a child's disappearance, like Dylan's age, Lily's age, and Jack's age, the first 2 hours are critical of finding that child alive. Anytime after that 2 hours, they're probably not alive no more. And that's just statistics. After 2 hours, that's the most critical time to find that child alive. After that, it's not a good outcome.
Yeah, I remember hearing that from Kelly too, and that's why they didn't send the Amber Alert out for even 3 hours. Is just dumbfounding. Like minutes matter, like seconds matter. I don't understand it.
It's just not a good outcome. So cops need to step it up a little bit. I mean, I know that, so I don't know why they don't know that. Like an RCMP officer once told me, he's still an actual cop. When a child goes missing, if he doesn't see that child within the first 5 to 10 minutes, all hands on deck. That means everybody drops what they're doing. It doesn't matter what the cops are doing, unless it's a gunman. Everybody has to drop what they're doing, and they have to go assist on looking for that child. All hands on deck. So I'm not following the RCMP too much, but I'm going to assume they didn't have all hands on deck right away. And that means every officer in the local area. So, and then search and rescue.
So he just said, I'm not following the RCMP too much, but I'm assuming they also didn't, right, have all hands on deck, because they didn't in the case of Dylan.
She's called in right away, and then it just goes from there. Anyway, I'm tired of doing this. I'll answer like a few more questions. Dylan's the grandmother. I don't even call her grandma. She's not a grandmother. Like she makes fun of me on that hate group. Like, you lose my child, now you make fun of me. Like, it's fucking horrible. So the grandmother's boyfriend or husband or whatever he is, he was never suspected when it comes to criminality and the police. No, he was never suspected. I had my thoughts because when Dylan went missing, I'm pretty sure he finished his shift at work still and then came home. You know, I figured a normal person would have been like, yep, the hell with work, I'm going home.
Wow, he finished his shift and then went home.
The Truro police didn't question people downstairs. So Jeff's parents lived downstairs in the same house, and the police didn't even question them on if they seen Dylan, or they didn't do anything, to be honest. My private investigator stated that the police didn't even entertain Queen Street. They didn't canvass that area whatsoever. There's a halfway house just down the road from where Dylan went missing, like literally 2 minutes down the road. And they didn't question everybody in that building.
Donna, are you talking about Dylan's stepdad, Jeff, came home for lunch? Is that you're talking about? You guys have to help me in the chat, because if you're not specific, you're asking me to guess.
They honestly just didn't do anything. It's going to be in the movie.
I don't think they're
married. I've never seen that before.
I don't know if they're married. But you heard he came home for lunch? Well, we'll ask Jason that tomorrow. if that's the case, if he knows if he came. Oh, about Jack and Lily's case. Oh, no, Donna, you're saying Dorothy's. I don't know if they're married. But yeah, we'll ask him tomorrow. This is almost done. We got 5 minutes here. And then 10 minutes. So we'll call it a day. And then tomorrow at 6:30 p.m., Jason will join us.
For hippopotamuses, $5. That's really sweet, guys. That's really
And
cool,
I'm hoping
actually.
we get
I haven't done
a good turnout tomorrow. So let everybody know, please.
YouTube, and so I'm gonna try smoking. I hope I don't get restricted. But I haven't done YouTube in a long time. So when Dylan went missing, I wanted to do everything different. So I looked at how everybody else searched for their kid, and I did it differently. You know, I wanted these huge platforms because I knew one day that I would need the public's help, and I would need you guys. So I made huge platforms. I'm followed by over 21.
Well, if he wants to share what he told me about Dorothy's boyfriend last night, then we'll let him share. But I don't know how that man was not interrogated. Let's just say that. I don't understand.
1,000 people on TikTok. I have, I think, 4,000 or 3,000 subscribers on YouTube. It's monetized. Everything I make off YouTube, I put into posters, and I put in just pretty well posters because posters are expensive. So I have a use for everything. TikTok, if I do a live and get gifts, I'll use that for searches because usually I can do a live and get $50, $60 in gifts, and then I'll instead of the news making money off Dylan and not being used for Dylan, I started doing it all myself. But I always figured one day I would need a big old protest, or I would need a whole lot of people in my corner. And I made these giant platforms, like pretty big. And I think I'm going to need you here pretty soon with Chief McNeil and this big cover up with Human Remains Dog. That see, that's why he doesn't like me, because I'm literally that guy that never stops. And most people stop and give up. And now I have him cornered. And it's great because you're going to have to account for that search report for September 11th, Chief McNeil. So I'll be seeing you then. Can't wait. I've been fighting it for 4 years straight.
Thank you.
It's like my biggest fight.
Sorry, I missed that. I totally missed that. I'm going to have to see. It's actually a little more challenging when you're looking at the stream and the comments. I missed some of the statements. So I'll have to go back and listen to that again because I just missed that. Thank you.
I'm surprised I don't hunt for cops because I hate cops so much, man. Just because of that hit in the water changed my look on everything. Like, when it's, it doesn't matter if it's a 2-year-old child, 1-year-old child, 5-year-old child, liability. If the cops screw up and there's liability, they will cover it up and make their name look good over a child. They will do it to any human being in the world. When it comes to liability, they will use that badge and they will say, fuck you. And they will say that to your child. It's crazy what liability... Like, it's sick. And what we call liability, I don't even, if there was a lawsuit, I don't want the money. I don't even want to sue anybody. For me, I want that hit in the water searched, dug up. You imagine 4 years wondering if your child's there? 4 years, no, 5, almost 5 years wondering if my child's there.
Barb, where did you hear that? Because he didn't say that. He didn't ever mention that to me last night. Not to say it's not true, but yeah.
That takes a mental toll on you.
Remember when he's on tomorrow to ask him that, please.
Because
if I
they didn't
forget.
Search and they covered it up because they fucked up and they didn't realize we were going to catch on, and they didn't realize I was there on the search, and they didn't realize I videotaped it. And that's where they went wrong. So you guys will see that soon. I had a phone call with a professional today about that specific topic there. He had a conversation with Nova Scotia Canine Search and Rescue, and they can already tell that he's lying also because he was obviously made to lie for the police. So it's really starting to turn a page. I did a Freedom of Information Act against the chief in September 11th, 2020 with a Human Remains Dog. And in 30 days, he didn't respond. And then he said that we didn't send the email. And then we proved we did send the email. And then he wrote a big old letter to me and said that the search report doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, man. So now I have that. So it's like, good job. Keep on giving me that paperwork because you're making yourself look like an idiot because I'm going to get it. The movie team's working on it. Professional teams working on it. Can't wait to throw Chief McNeil under the bus. It's like my goal for what he did. There are some YouTubes that still... there's a lot of people that still cover Dylan. Like Dylan's... I learned over the years that, like, the world adopted Dylan like as their own. Like they got to know him, and they just, I don't know, maybe it's his beautiful smile, right? Like he's just everybody. Like Dylan is still really far. Like he's out there. Like I've got him so far out there that he's went around the world and back 1,000,000 times. Like, I mean, people in Africa reach out to me, like places I've never even heard of that are probably further than Africa. You know, and Dylan had that, you know, beautiful smile, and he had that, you know, so the blue and green hearts. I do blue and green hearts, and that stands for something very important.
Yeah, I'm glad he's bringing this up.
Dylan's right eye is half blue, half hazel. It's vertigo. It's very rare, and it's in his one eye. And that's the meaning of the blue and green hearts. That's why I always put them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it means a lot to me. So, you know, he gets his looks from his father. So. Dylan was his enthusiasm was contagious. Like he was so. I'm not going to talk about him right now because I'm going to cry. So I'm not crying tonight because it tires me out. I'm not getting into it. You guys don't want to see it, so we're not going. Like I'm already starting to choke up, so we're not getting into it. Can't do it. All right. Anyone have any last questions before I jump off here? Like, anyone have any important questions? Like, I'll give you guys 5 minutes, and the newest ones get answered, and then I'm done. Because it's like, I've been on here for an hour and a half, which is absolutely crazy. So, and I'm dry, and I get stressed out talking about it. It's like talking about it 1 billion times. Eventually, it takes a toll on you. It's 1 a.m. Wow. Like, hey, I never sleep anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'm a night owl. I think I go to sleep at like 3 a.m. like clockwork because I have a hard time sleeping sometimes.
Can only imagine.
Anyway, I'm not this crazy guy, or I'm not this lunatic. Facebook me and social media me is completely different than the actual me. So I just wanted to put that out there too. I'm not this crazy person. Social media me is pretty ignorant sometimes, but it's not the real me. Anyway, I'm out of here. Sweet dreams, everybody. Good night.
Okay, everybody. That also means we're going to wrap this up. And tomorrow, thank you for everybody for being here. Tomorrow, we'll see Jason up here. 6:30 Eastern is when we're going to talk about Dylan. And we'll see how many times he wants to come up. And then we'll go back to Jack and Lily and Sebastian. But I still want to cover Dylan. Thank you, Donna. I really want to cover Dylan for a while. I just don't know how much we're going to be able to, like how long we're going to have information to cover those, you know. But anyways, we're going to play by ear, but that's the plan. Is for now, we're going to cover Dylan. And welcome Jason tomorrow and try to get his name out there, you know, and just hopefully find him and bring him home safely. Because I don't know what to say about, I have mixed feelings because when I see the dog searching in the river, the video he sent me, and then hearing the guy, the handler, say, you know, she's searching, like she's not playing. She's we'll see you all tomorrow. Yeah, I know. It's been 5 years. 5 years. So okay, everybody. Thank you everybody for being here. Have a good night, and we'll see everybody tomorrow. Share the live out. Yes, thank you. Have a good night, everybody. Hope, good luck. Good luck. See everybody tomorrow.